Hello, we're Legends on Paper, an eclectic group of longtime gamers with a passion for Dungeons and Dragons. We're not voice actors, professional gamers, or paid performers. We're regular people, just like you, except that we'll probably make complete fools of ourselves along the way as we attempt to have fun and entertain. If you enjoyed tonight's production, please follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our channels on Twitch and YouTube. And most importantly, don't forget to tell all your friends. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey as Legends on Paper presents the greatest adventure. Welcome once again to Legends on Paper. Last session was an interesting one as lots and lots of backstory and information came out for all of our heroes. The Queen of Tartessos made its way finally into the harbor of Ease, where the characters went off on their various solo activities in the city. Most importantly, Josiini and her group, along with Howl, managed to find a tavern, which would kind of be their home base for the evening that they would be staying there, planning to depart from Ease the next morning. There, they proceeded to get wantonly drunk, while the others, including Hildy, who made her way to the Lantian Tower with the crimson crystal on top, that's a mouthful, and met with a very, very unusual druid that kind of came out of nowhere but seemed to know her quite well, referred to her as Digdy. She found out soon enough that his name was Mara, and he knew her pretty well from some historical context, it seems. So after a little bit of conversation, he asking about family members, some of the things that are going on. He was aware that she's on a mission seeking out the Radiant Crown. Had recently come from the capital of Lion's Gate, where a globulous pudding-like creature, the one perhaps that the group had seen in the Infernal Plains through the portal, had come out of the maw and attacked the city. It went on for 3 days before they finally destroyed this demonic creature, with the help of Marilyn, who had arrived on scene, at least toward the end of the whole ordeal, and presented to Digdy, or Hildy, Mara did, a rod that apparently will close portals that had been sent along through him from Merlin. Mara had also been at the Enclave in the Matu Mountains and had some discussions with the elders there as well. In the meantime, Kiva had made her way to the Enclave of Luna outside of Ease and met with Elder Secria, and she was not quite as commiserate in her concern for the way that, at least not in a good way, for the way that Kiva had dealt with her recent marriage and some of her turmoil going on with her faith. Was quite stern with her, in fact. and left Kiva a bit, I would say, abashed as she headed back into the city, with lots of things going through her mind in terms of how she might get back into the good graces of Luna. And then, of course, we had Takir, who had gone looking for his contact in Ease, and ended up finding the Fat Man. Fat Man being as kind as ever and as gracious as ever, there with his granddaughters, the daughters of Reskelin, the Raven, their names being Sethra and Pessy, that seemed to fit right in with the family business, had some very long-term goals in mind that he wished for Takir to carry out and keep him informed of. So, as that's kind of a broad stroke overview of what the heroes were involved with last week, and as we started this evening, everyone has returned to the tavern, and whatever state of drunkenness, Howell, I believe, had pretty much passed out. Late in the evening, by the time everyone converges, finds their rooms, and unless anybody wants to do anything during the night before taking a long rest, then we're going to go straight to the next morning. So let me just say, anything you guys want to try and... Okay.
Nope.
I just get hammered.
Good if I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, under the watchful eye of Josiini and her sailors, all female crew sailors, except for Narki and his small little monkey named Taro. You all enjoy as much as you like in terms of drink and good food, as this is a well-known haunt of Josiini and her crew. And the next morning, you awaken to a beautiful sunrise in this legendary city of tall towers and long bridges at various elevations. The gardens that are just famous throughout the Western Kingdoms. Fountains and pools and just a beautiful, beautiful city that was not long ago destroyed by what they refer to in the Western Kingdoms as a great storm. But it seems like over the past 2.5 decades, it has been rebuilt and is greater than ever. So, as we started the next morning, all of you meeting down in the common room, knowing that you expect to heave off on the Queen of Tartessos further south. What would you like to do?
Turn off the fucking sun. Slept well, huh? I think someone tried to talk to me while I was asleep, but I don't know if I hallucinated that or if I just got really...
There was a spider and I put it in your mouth.
But then I got a bit of extra protein last night, didn't I?
I thought it would wake you up.
Oh my god, why is everybody yelling?
You all have no self-control.
Ah, it's so loud.
I have to buy something before we go. It'll be on the way out, it's not much.
I need eggs.
Easily obtainable here. And
Like the
so yes, so they're
More beer.
they have warm mead, they have ale, all of that's available in this tavern. It's not the finest tavern; it's there nearby the wharf, but it seems like they pride themselves in a good quality of ale and food. So,
like
and you and
Pepperdine, but alcohol.
yeah, pretty much.
Salt. And alcohol. You need.
So as you complete your meal, breaking the fast, it's still early in the day. You hear outside the crowds beginning to move around through the streets, the market's beginning to open. You hear the bells and chimes throughout the docks indicating that some of the trade vessels are already leaving port. What are you doing?
I'll be going back to supervise my girls, make sure we're all ship shape and ready to go.
Yep.
making the
Just don't take too long. I'll leave without you.
just said.
Wow. I swear that was the first time I saw.
I was
Oh, Spike and Hildy are going back to the ship with that one.
After seeing Hildy go back to the ship, I turn around. I'm just gonna look for a stall that might sell seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, just like
Just on the way back. I mean, you're not far from the ship.
I figured, like
Seeds specifically?
basically, I'm trying to find like flower seeds that I could take on the ship.
Okay, all right. Well, roll a perception as you make your way back down to the docks.
14 plus 3, that is 17.
Okay, so that's not bad. You're able to find a kiosk where they're selling, flowers, bulbs, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You'll be able to find some seeds. Any particular flower that you're looking for? Just kind of a wildflower?
Wildflowers if I take them. Moonflower if I could find them, but in general, but flowers, regular wildflowers if I can't.
Okay. Yeah, with that roll and where we are, I'll give you the wildflowers. You'll be able to find some seeds for those, the various wildflowers. Now, your crew has already been down at the ship preparing to heave off, as you would expect them to, earlier than you and the rest of the group go down. Hildy, you would be one of the first ones to arrive, I guess, after the crew in the morning. And
Hello, girls.
even before you arrive there, this is a massive dock, but you know exactly where your ship is. And as you make your way to that particular berth, you note that just off to the side of the wide pier that heads out to where there are numerous ships, but of course one being the Queen of Tartessos, you note that there is that strange oxen-driven chariot-style cart with the jewels in the wheels that is sitting alone and by itself.
On the same wharf leading up to the Queen of Tartessos.
Correct.
Oh, I don't like this.
I walk over and smell one of the weird oxen.
Okay, they're huge, huge, kind of grayish white oxen. They just kind of look over, snort at you, kind of like sniffing back.
All right.
Okay, I'll head back to the boat.
Okay, so you're heading off the.
No, did I glean any information?
The two of them are like just looking at each other,
Oxen.
Oh, it smells like how.
As you get down toward the wharf, you note that there is some sort of commotion right at the gangway that leads up to the Queen of Tartessos itself from the dock. And you see that fellow, Wara, whom you met with the night before at the Atlantean Tower. And he seems to be having some sort of animated conversation with a couple of the crewwomen of the Queen of Tartessos. Two of them are kind of like blocking the gangplank as if he's trying to walk up it, and they've kind of positioned themselves in a way to defensively not allow him to go up, but it hasn't like come to blows or anything, but you can hear that there's kind of an aggressive conversation going on.
As I'm walking up, do I hear any specific things that are...
Roll perception. Roll perception as you get close.
All right. 17.
Okay. You most certainly recognize the man's voice, and of course his strange dress, obviously a druid, but with that odd owl mask that he wears over the top half of his face. His back is towards you, and the two sailor women are focused on him intently, and there's others that are on board that are kind of doing their work, but also kind of gliding nearby in case something goes down. You hear him basically telling them, "I got to get on. Yeah, I've got something for her."
Maura,
He's kind of oh, well, there she is.
you be nice to those girls.
I thought you were on board. I thought you were already on board. I figured you'd be ready.
Get on board. You're standing at the gangway.
I thought you were already on board. That's why I was going to go.
It's much too early for that.
Look, come back with me to my chariot's just up at the end of the pier there. Why don't you come with me? Let me show you a couple of things that I forgot to give you last night.
Your cows smell blue.
Oh, they're not blue.
I know, but they smell blue. All right.
That's
So-
unusual. And he just kind of glances over at the women. You kind of see a smile, and they look at him in this perplexed way as he just kind of turns with a huff. He's got a cloak, and he just kind of whips it around dramatically and begins walking back up the pier, presumably with you in tow.
I'll follow him,
Okay.
berating him for being mean to the girls.
He just kind of nods and he goes, "Oh, dig. You've always had a temper. Must run in the family."
Well, maybe. I don't remember.
You will. You'll start remembering more and more.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not.
That's a good thing.
All right.
It'll be better for the rest of us too, because this whole thing.
Whole thing.
You know, to each his own. And when you get up to the chariot, I mean, this looks like a chariot. I mean, but a four-wheeled chariot, for all intents. It's almost been like modified in a way to appear cart-like toward the back. But I mean, it's just opulent with all the jewels and gems and so forth encrusted into the wheels and the way that it's painted. The most mundane thing about the entire chariot is the fact that there are oxen pulling it, which, you know, anybody that might know, would not expect that they would pull it very fast. But in any case, he seems to be happy with it. He goes to his chariot and reaches over the side and pulls out a bag, and it's kind of heavy. He pulls it out with both hands and lays it carefully on the ground, the wooden planks of the main dock right next to the chariot. By now, the rest of you would probably be, finding your way and see Hildy standing with this very strange fellow.
How's it going? Bird skull for a face.
Mask, yeah.
Can I identify this as standard druid clothing?
Roll a history with advantage.
Oh boy.
It's double ones.
Double ones, double one. That's a 12.
Okay. Your memory is kind of tweaked. I mean, you definitely have heard something about this figure, but the details are just eluding you. The one thing that comes to your mind is a single phrase, and that's the blind druid.
All I want to know is, do I plot this dude as a druid? That's what I'm...
Oh, he most certainly looks like a druid. I mean, everything about him screams druid. I mean, even Hildy knows he's a druid.
Funny because you have the best perception of the team.
Hi, my name is Drew.
I think that's true.
Yeah, but the long, in this case, he's obviously an elder because he's wearing the white robes, and then he's got the feathers and the bones that are kind of tied onto it in various ways, colorful. And then, of course, that strange, almost like headdress mask of an owl on top that he wears on his head. And the hornless bullhide cloak, that he wears over his robes. Everything about him screams druid. And so you get there just as he takes his bag out and he plops it onto the ground. Are you going on, or are you gonna kind of?
Wait, he's about to make a deal with Hildy.
Wait, I'm over there.
Okay.
Are you there?
I'm just eating a carrot and I kind of walk up to.
I kind of want
What's
to
up,
watch from the distance, but I'll walk up too.
Well, hello.
Who's this?
This is my cousin.
Wara.
Was he your cousin before today?
Well, of course, otherwise he wouldn't be my cousin.
Insight 16.
Inciting what?
Hildegard saying it's her cousin.
She seems sincere. She seems, more sincere than usual, I suppose.
I don't see the family resemblance. But...
That's because he's wearing a bone mask and I'm not. If I had a bone mask on, we would look exactly alike.
Oh, what if we put the bone mask on? You test that out.
Then I wouldn't be able to see.
You saw.
Wait, you can. I was. You can see through the mask.
Oh, yes, this mask. It allows me to see.
Interesting.
Well, for a blind man,
I take it you're
works
here.
quite well.
I take it you're here for some reason other than coincidence.
Well, he was here to talk to me until you came up. Now I'm sitting in the back like I'm just the top liver of a goat.
He just kind of ignores the cure and looks over and kind of gazes over at Kiva, looking her up and down. Ah, yes. I've got something for you. Elder Maydak thought this might be helpful. And he pulls out of his sack, he pulls a pouch. And in the pouch, it's just a small little pouch. You can hear what sounds like, almost like soft marbles, kind of moving around inside, just kind of jiggling as he hands it. His hand is kind of shaking as he hands you this pouch. They're the improved goodberry. They won't rot or anything. You don't have to worry about them, gone to pot after a day.
Improved. Oh.
And what he explains to you is that these improved good berries, when taken, they last until the individual. Anybody can take them. They last until you take a long rest, at which time their effect expires. But the effect that they give you, they give you what a good berry normally would, except that in addition to that, 2d4 plus your wisdom modifier of temporary hit points until the end of the next long rest.
My wisdom modifier or the
No, yours.
Okay. Just had to clarify that.
Yeah. I mean, although you didn't produce them, I'm just going to say yours because, I mean, yours is good anyway. So, yeah, and you have 20 of them.
That's how we call it.
Those are extra good berries.
They're great berries.
Great berries. I like that. I'm keeping that. I'm writing that in my notebook.
Good for your note collection.
Great. Yeah.
For your records.
And then he looks over at Howell. Oh, I think these are for you. And also, these are from Elder Budak. He wanted to remind you that you owe him a favor. I don't remember if... Well, I didn't even mention you, Centaur. I didn't know you were going to be here. In any case, he pulls out these two swords. And they're short swords that are made from the teeth of the dragon turtle. Finely made, finely wrought, and you can see these, what you would recognize as these druidic symbols that have been carved into the blade. They glow faintly. And what he explains that these do, as the magic enchantment, they are basically +1 swords, and on a hit, they do an additional 1d6 of steam damage, which is fire damage.
Okay,
So he hands them both to Howell.
that's fine.
All right.
How will return that favor in due time, I'm sure.
All right.
No, all right then. Now, Digby, I've got something really special for you.
Is that another stick?
No, this is from Maryland. He said you'd be the only one to be able to use it. And he pulls out this box, and it's a beautiful mahogany polished box. That's only about 2.5 inches wide, maybe 2 inches deep. Another, and just a small little, like almost the size of a watch box. If watches were to exist. And he cracks it open, and inside you see what appears to be a clear oval gem that's nearly flat and with a darker orb at its center. For all intents, it looks like an eye, but obviously not a flesh eye, but a gem that resembles an eye. It's beautiful.
Is the dark orb in the center the same glowy purple type of orb I've seen before? Choke?
No. Mm-mm. No, it's still kind of a greenish, but just darker. And the rest of it's translucent, for the kind of a translucent green, but an oval. He pulls it out. He says, "This is how we use this." He takes the gem and he reaches forward towards you.
Oh, this is hard.
Oh, it won't hurt at all. I don't think. I haven't tried it. Maybe it will. Could be excruciating. Just prepare yourself. I don't know. And press it into your forehead. You see this glow appear all around his hand as his hand is pressed up against your forehead.
I can't because his hand is covering me.
Well, the rest of them.
This is standard druid stuff.
And then he pulls it away. Actually, no. He pulls it away, and you're left with a third eye in the center of your forehead. Now, with this third eye, you don't have to attune to it. You don't have to. You don't have to attune to it even as a mentalist. This is clearly, though, an object that only a mentalist could use. But as you are kind of sensing its properties, as it's kind of like part of you, and it's funny. I mean, it almost looks like a real eye. I mean, as your eyes blink, it blinks. You know, as you look around, it moves.
That is quite.
You know, and it appears to move with your other eyes. So now it's like in sync with your eyes. Now, taking it out, that might be fun. But it also has a very faint glow to it as well that kind of matches the glow that you normally have around you as a twat a day.
Are we all going to be okay with this?
I don't like
Is
this.
this another thing we pretend isn't happening?
I like that plan. I like that plan a lot.
Oh my god.
Wink, wink.
I think she just winked at me with it.
The only one I'm okay with her flirting with is here.
I'm not.
I know.
Oh, now I'm gonna work on getting my eyes to look in one direction, but it,
It's a lazy third eye.
Hildegard will put eyeliner on it or something ridiculous, knowing her.
Mara? Wawa. Moro.
Okay, in any case, he said, well, if you want to remove it, you just reach up and take it off
Why would I do that?
and put it back in the box of safekeeping.
Can anyone do that?
You might want to try. I don't. Well, oh no. She might like that.
I will not hold her down.
Look here.
Well,
She's an old woman. You can shoot.
I don't want she's distracted.
I don't know. Now she seems very
I
perceptive.
sense that if you touch it, you'll catch fire.
Well, this is quite the interesting group you got here. So I think I'll be heading off my way.
Excuse me, Moro. Not to look a gift horse in the owl mask, but I believe that these were intended for another member of the party.
The name I got was Howl.
Oh yeah, that is my name. Never mind. I apologize.
Yeah, that's what Elder Bullock told me.
Right.
If they belong to someone else, I don't know. Maybe you have them now.
No, I
They're in the right hands.
they're in my hands.
Only Hal owes you a favor.
Not my troubles anymore.
Hey, Doc.
So I'll be heading on my way. It's good to see you, Digday, and
Oh,
I hope you find your. Please find your sister, Aini. She misses you. She's just a young lass. She needs her big sister.
if I find her, I'll know where she is.
You will with that. I hope you get your senses back soon too.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Now, we'll meet again. I think you and I are gonna have a. Where? I don't know.
Are we gonna have an epic magical showdown one day?
We might,
All right.
but I'll be on your side.
Okay, good.
What if he's not?
Then I'll probably just die alongside of you.
What if I'm not on your side?
Well, the turtle already ate your dog, so it won't be as
You
sad.
bring this up every time.
I'm going
Pick a me.
to the boat now. Thank you, Mora.
And he's slowly just kind of getting into his cart-like chariot, just whoosh, and the ox just sit for a moment, and then whoop, push off, and he begins to move slowly off the docks. Everyone just kind of parting away, and you're noticing that you didn't notice before, the night before in the Atlantean Tower, but you're noticing now only as he leaves this very, very faint green glow that winks out.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
As soon as he's out of sight.
I'm sorry, only I owe a favor to the druids.
It's more beneficial if only you owe them a favor, both of us.
Oh, yes.
They could use that against us. It
But-
made sense at the time. Just keep us.
Yes, pass this off on the hill folk, alright, you sylvan bastards.
Please.
Well, to be very honest, the druid totally knows that it's you. Like, they don't forget names. I forget names, but I'm a shit druid. But they remember names.
I don't think he would go out of his way to
Sometimes I
mess with
forget
me.
names.
What if we...
I don't like relating to you on that.
Hold on. I think I smell burnt toast because I might be having an idea.
Does it involve giving no swords?
Potentially, after an extended period of time. But, listen, since they've delivered the wrong object to the wrong person, that means you should be receiving my axe. But if the deal was not completed correctly and we have each other's items, how can we possibly make good on the favor?
When we next see a druid approach us, I'll give them back to you and we'll get back to see what you have on the inside.
What if they can check fingerprints?
How?
How? A man who saw through solid bone met you in a city weeks away from where you started and found you to give you those things. You might not want to try to get him over.
We also did go to hell and back, so there a lot of quite incredible things have happened around me these past couple days.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'll go back to the ship.
So as you're heading back to the ship, you've had this eye in your forehead for about a minute, and you're actually able to see through it. You realize you're able to see through it just like you're seeing through your eyes, and your normal eyes. But then after about a minute, it goes dark. And what you realized in that time was that when you supplant this in your forehead, for the duration of 1 minute, you're able to read any script, magical or not, and you can also within that minute discern insight on an object that you handle if you concentrate on it for that minute, to give you insight as to the previous owner or sense of the last person interacting with the object. So it can be used 3 times a day. It resets at dawn. So 1 usage has already been used on the item for the day. So I'll send you that in more formal format later. But I just wanted you to have some idea as to what it does in case there was an opportunity to use it during the session. So,
All right.
okay. So so it goes blind, and so right now it just looks like you have this dark, gem-like eye in your forehead, and it feels loose, like it might fall out.
Take it out and put it in this box.
Okay.
Makes me very sad.
Oh,
All right. So you get to the ship, and Josiini's sailorettes have the ship ready to go. At each port, you have been dropping off some trade, some product that you have agreed to transport from one locale to the next, and you're not taking on anything. At this point, your final destination for offloading goods that trade goods that you're carrying. There's various things, whether textiles, inks and dyes and that sort of thing that you've been dropping off at the different ports in Freetown. At that point, you're going to be, your hull is going to be empty, and already you're thinking about what you're going to carry from Freetown to the next port of call, which would be Port Francik, and how you're going to make money doing it. So you're committed to going there, but you know also that you have to find a way to pay for it and make it worth your while, because you're a trader, you're a merchant, sea merchant.
Privateer. Pirate.
Most pirates were being paid by something.
I resemble that remark.
So you also know that it's going to take about 10 days to get from Ease to Freetown in Tartessos. And that's a good weather, assuming that you don't have to stop along the way for any reason, you don't have any bad weather that blows you off course, you don't sink, nothing eats you, all that stuff. So you don't become, slaves of the Tartessian slavers or anything like that. So under the best circumstances, it's going to take about 10 days to get there, and you see a lot, this time of day, a lot of ships heading out to sea from the port of Ease. What are you guys going to do?
I guess some more.
All aboard, everyone's on board.
Yeah.
Let's heave to and push out of this joint.
I sent you a DM, but I'll just say it out loud. I did a 24 sleight of hand to get my swords off a hell.
Oh,
I rolled a nat 20 on my perception check.
What's the total? Is it 24?
What? Hey, no, it's 21.
where did you have them?
My hips. I've also kind of been playing with them the whole time.
So sticky fingers, as they're kind of in your in your belt, just kind of jammed in there. Suddenly you realize that, or maybe you don't realize immediately that they're no longer there. Where do you have them?
I'm in the shadows right now.
In the shadows on a boat
Yes. Like when I was sniping 28 on my
during the
stealth.
day.
28 on my stealth check.
I will sink this boat if it means
there a
I
road?
find
I'm
you.
in the crow's nest.
I think the best.
I don't know how the fuck I got up there.
No, I don't either. I think the best is you could do. Maybe you're kind of hiding in the shadow of the main mast.
I rolled
At
a
the-
6 on my perception. For
Like he's walking by and then the mast is kind of turning a little bit and I'm just crouched.
I swear to God, I will turn you into glue.
Oh my
I
God.
heard some theater voice on that one.
You've awakened a terrible monster within me.
Oh.
So terrible that the author.
You stole from me, Dakir. We could have negotiated. And this is just Howl running around the deck,
Just screaming to the wind.
like flipping barrels, looking for. Where's this little horse? Fuck!
You break it, you buy it.
I'm sorry, miss. And gently puts down the chum barrel.
I'm just sort of watching. You'll forget about it tomorrow.
I will never forget about this, no matter what you think.
And the sailors are just kind of looking at you sideways, just kind of chuckling a little bit, not quite realizing what's going on, except there's a madman running around their deck. And the only one that's getting real excited is Taro,
Taro.
the little monkey. He's like he's got, he's up on top of the shoulder from one to the other on his master's shoulders.
Do I notice this?
Oh yeah.
This is what happens when you have some monkey business going around.
Oh Lord. Here we
I
go.
will see
That
the monkey
sneak attack with a rock.
I will see the monkey freaking out, and I will look at myself. Take a deep breath.
The Narky is just giving you this withering look. Get a hold of yourself. You're disturbing my monkey.
I apologize. I will be back in 10 minutes, and I'm gonna go catch
Where are you going to go?
apples for 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Ritual? Okay.
So to recap, the barbarian went on a rampage, then went down below deck, started lighting candles, and no one's questioning this.
It's my meditation ritual.
All right.
No,
You
you're-
don't know how much he drank last night.
I lit some
It's
incense.
incense.
Drew a bath, the whole thing.
I come back 10 minutes later. Monkey.
He's just kind of like hiding behind Narky's neck. He's a little tiny thing.
You want apple?
Right? You're actually
Yeah.
you're like okay.
I
So
can't speak with animals and the communication through
yes, well,
Ravik's like, what voice do I use from you?
yeah. Why, hello. How are you? My name is Taro. No,
that's Howl speaking monkey.
he's like, yes, yes. Just pull it back. Starts eating the apple.
Now enjoy that apple, but when you see the centaur, just put a little shit on it.
He immediately points over to where the mast is.
You're quite the navigatorial monkey, aren't you? What is your direction?
Eating his apples.
Don't worry. He knows he has to come down.
No, he's not up there. The centaur is not up in the fucking crow's nest, okay? So, just to be clear, he's hiding behind the mast. And you gotta roll perception to see if you actually see him.
Oh, fuck.
28.
Does he have advantage since the monkey's pointing at me out?
Well, yes, I would say I agree. So you're not sure if the monkey's fucking with you or if you just can't see.
The sails are hanging down in an exact
So maybe
centaur
you
shape.
are looking up at the crow's nest.
Okay. You've got hooves. How? Are you fucking with me? Okay. We'll reevaluate this later. If you see him, you just
You rolled in that fucking 20.
just when he's not looking, just rub a little poop on him.
Okay.
I'll give you more apples.
All right. And he kind of gives you the impression that this is his thing.
Fist bump, little man.
And he gives you 2.
I have not been paying attention to a word of this shenanigans. As I've had a book open, I've been like scrabbling, like
We're both just speaking monkey over there.
workshopping.
Now, the whole time, Narky is just like looking at you. His monkey's like right there, on his neck the whole time. What are you doing?
Oh, I just made a business deal with your friend, partner.
He is not a pet. Understand that he is not a pet. He is my companion.
I agree. I am very fond of animals.
Stay away from my monkey.
He used to have a dog.
You don't worry about him, Daryl. Don't worry. Big meanie. Okay.
He's quite a witty fellow. Very intelligent.
I know. I talk to my monkey all the time.
Well, let's talk to you. And he's quite...
I heard the shenanigans that you were speaking. I don't think he understands the word. He does not understand,
Totally.
barbarian language.
Completely understandable. And I wink at the monkey.
Are you winking at me?
No.
I am not
Sorry,
Francisco Porfentolio.
No.
I am Narky.
Yes. No, sorry. I got a little bit of sea spray in my eyes.
You go talk to that centaur, whoever. He might be more your type.
Oh, don't worry. I will find that scent.
Good. He's over by the mast.
Where is he?
By now, the Queen of Tartessos has managed to get out of the embracing arms of the walls and through the massive open doorway leading out into the Primal Sea, heading off toward the south. And being as, the Queen of Tartessos says everything about your small little galley, it's not an intimidating ship. It's clearly a small merchant ship. And it does what you need to do, but you're not displaying as a pirate. But there's still the fact that you fly Tartessian colors, and it says Queen of Tartessos. The way the women are dressed, you're dressed, in the fashion
Ability strap.
of Tartessos. There's a lot of sidelong looks and nervous sailors on other ships as they kind of give you a wide berth, and you have the open sea to yourself ahead of you.
Give them a friendly wave as they go by.
You want me to
Unknowing wave.
steer?
Steer if you like for a little bit. You have to
All
talk
right.
to Narky.
Narky, the captain said I can steer.
No, you cannot stare.
No, watch.
Not no. And he's holding the wheel
Yeah.
while you're holding the wheel. It's like
All right.
it's almost like
Works for her.
Okay, one of the Titanic moments, with on the bow of the ship.
It's like she's
Here and there. Front.
There you go. But he's not letting go of that wheel.
Your race.
I do cast weather. I do cast weather report
Okay.
for the navigator to
Alrighty.
in the next 24 hours.
Go ahead and roll your D30.
I like how you just negated that guy's job.
No, he has to navigate it. I'm just telling him what's coming.
She doesn't know how to use a six.
A 23.
23. Okay. So over the next 24 hours, you can expect that today, fairly light winds. It's going to be a little bit, of course, you're closer to the equator now, far from Lioness. Getting warmer the further you go south, of course, but warmer is relative as we're just finally getting to like the high 50s and low 60s, and it's summertime. But the winds are light, and you kind of expect this type of nice weather and good sailing until, through the day, the night, into the next morning.
So fucking attached.
Given your background, yeah.
Pretty temperate.
Much is answered.
Oh, is it because you used to be in a bear? You used to be covered with fur.
I'm just used to being a bit further up north. It's kind of weird that there aren't like ice floats around. And frankly, the fact that that giant city didn't have like a glacier threatening it is what's really weirding me out.
Glaciers? How far north are you from?
Oh, we're from very far north.
Very far.
I wasn't from that far north, and then I went more north, and then I went south again.
I just was up there.
Interesting.
Far away.
We have to go to the Bay of Feeding Toms again.
No, that was the other direction.
Good.
So
There's probably like a kraken or a giant monster in this direction.
I hope so. I have a horse I need to feed to it.
to give you some
thoughts.
perspective,
Oh, there you are.
as we look at the map, you're leaving Ease and heading out toward Ostronice, where you will move closer along the coast as you get down toward Tartessos, passing Port Tarpon before you arrive in Freetown. So there's a lot of traffic on the seas heading north and south. The ships giving themselves, a good distance between. None appearing too threatening as you move on. Go ahead and roll 4 more weather.
Yeah.
You said you were doing it every day, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you are, and 4 more. We'll see how the weather is going to
Oh, no.
That's an 11.
roll for the next few days.
That's a 27.
Oh, that's worse.
That's a 28.
Oh no, that's a dragon.
And that's a 2.
That's a Tarrasque.
Swarm of Tarrasques.
Ocean Tarrasques.
That's a kraken. That's literally just a kraken. That's just a kraken.
A Tarraken.
A Tarrasque.
Oh, a kraken immune to damage.
Okay.
Why
Oh
not?
god.
It might as well be.
Oh, it's a Tarrasque with a swim speed.
All right. So
And 8 arms.
And it
10 days to get down to Freetown. Over the next 5 days, as you continue to your journey south on the Queen of Tartessos, finding it a little less interesting and exciting on board without Francisco and his family, who, of course, left you in ease as they needed to buy more horses to take back up into the Western Kingdoms, and probably wouldn't be too welcome in Tartessos right now anyway, given Esmeralda's background being the princess of the Pirate King of Freetown. What did you want to do anything during this 5-day period?
Howell would like to at least like 3 of the 5 days, do more training with Kiva.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
You would obviously find Dakir at some point,
Oh yeah.
you know, noticing that he's got this brown mark down the back of his tunic, or you're wearing leather armor, right? So the slightly darker brown, where you might have had an interesting encounter with Taro as he hopped over and was happy and gleeful and moving around and just kind of playing, and then left you very quickly with a brown mark down the back
I
of
sort
your,
of watch him go with a smile like this.
your chin.
I like that monkey.
And Narky kind of like,
Clearly the monkey liked you.
I'm sure he did.
So the first moment I find him, I'm going to walk up to him very slowly.
I'm looking at arrows from 2 different quivers and like comparing them together, studying them.
Hey, can you put that down for a second?
Why?
Put it down for a second.
Why?
Just put it down for a second. I just want to talk.
I don't think he wants to talk.
And immediately I'm going to do the thing where you push one shoulder, pull the other, and put him in headlock.
all right. So
Oh, got some shit on me.
that's a grapple. Okay, so athletics, both of you.
I can do acrobatics,
How
right?
would you do that?
Yes.
Use this.
Yeah, he connected to a horse.
11.
Maybe that's a person.
Yeah, that's my body.
If it's strong enough.
No. I'm now sitting on the horse, putting it in a headlock.
I rolled an 11, so
I'm
sure you won.
Athletics? That's a 26.
Okay.
And you like, I try to move the others.
Yeah, Hal is quite strong, and he managed to get just the right, twist and turn so that he's in a position that he's able to twist you
I'm
around.
sitting on your back now.
They were my swords, Hal.
Again, that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. You stole from me.
You stole them first. Oh my
I did not steal them. I was gifted them, sir.
It was an unspoken agreement.
I squeezed a little tighter. Listen. Are you going to steal from me again?
You can try and break out if you want.
he's just gonna pass out.
No, you're
16.
You try to bulk
I
him.
probably don't have a chance.
Even with an 11, 18.
Okay.
To resist that. I'll loosen just a little bit. Okay. Listen, you're my bro. We went on the road trip. we owe our souls to a druid uncle. We need to trust each other.
When you want.
I didn't.
They were my swords.
I didn't steal from you. I don't steal from my own people.
You should have given it to me when they were gifted to you.
Here, all you had to do was have a conversation with me.
Fine, I won't steal from you again.
Okay, I will let him go. That's all I was mad about. I would have given them to you. I floated an idea, but I'm not a big thinker all the time. I don't like when my friends, the people I trust implicitly, try to fuck me.
Oh, I hope no one ever steals from me. I would have to kill him.
Understood. What else should I have to
Is
do?
this going to be a problem with the others? Or is it just me? Did I do something wrong?
Do I have to roll a deception check with that?
If you're trying to deceive.
You big puppy eyes to make yourself look more sad.
14 deception.
22 insight.
I try to give you a very sincere look as I'm looking back up from the arrow I'm looking at. Would never steal from any parties.
You
It was an eye twitch, not a wink.
I'll take note of that. Okay.
Okay.
For right now, I just ask that you approach us before you rifle through our things. Because quite honestly, I think this group is more accommodating than you'd like to give them credit for.
But I would eat you.
When did you get here?
Small boat.
The whole crew, everyone.
7 feet tall. How do you keep sneaking up on them?
You're also like about
We
85
can all hear you.
Yeah, everyone on the ship is
I don't know.
focused on you guys.
I'm
And
surprised she hasn't blown with the sails.
Yeah, you were just involved in a giant wrestling match. Kind of hard not to notice.
Well, to be honest, I was taking note of this technique. Well, I'm not the best with grapples.
Your pants are covered in poop now.
those of you come away with anything, it's that these two smell like monkey shit.
Yeah, you guys smell like shit.
I sort of realized it too.
Did you get
Shit on me.
No, the monkey did.
I'm like loosening my armor and getting ready to wash it.
You see what happens when you mess with the monkey? Narky calls down.
Don't fuck with Taro.
Oh, fuck with Taro.
And I sneakily, not sneakily, hand him another apple.
A couple of the women sailors are just like, and one just kind of looks over there. He's making rituals here. It's just so.
What if we hang a rope
So beautiful.
off the boat and you guys can get in the water?
How
and
fast are we
yourself?
going?
You're moving 5-6 knots. You're under sail.
No. Yeah, let's tie a rope.
I'm,
This-
I want to jump in the water.
this
there's
is
a washing
wonderful
bucket
idea.
right there.
No, this is a wonderful idea.
I'm
You
not
should
doing
do
it.
This will clear the air between the two of you, because it looks like there's still some stuff left unresolved. So the best way to bond would be him having fun in the water and you jumping in the ocean.
You know what, Dakir, actually, I think this is quite a phenomenal opportunity right now. I've been helping Kiva get over her fear of being a person. I'll help you over your fear of being in the water.
Kiva's looked more tense than any of us since we got back on board.
Yeah, that's because she wants to turn into a bear and she hasn't done it for a couple days.
There isn't a lot of room on this boat.
No.
She's not denying what I said.
I'm not jumping off the boat. I'm going below deck. If anybody needs me, I'll be there.
All right.
What I'm trying to do when I was looking at the arrows, by the way, I'm trying to figure out if the quiver that Fat Man gave me, the arrows in that are different from my normal arrows.
Yeah, most certainly. And they would have at least, as you were informed what the bow is, there's no doubt that, if not him, but certainly one of the girls would have informed you of the magical arrows, so that you knew what you were getting.
So, well, I don't know what they are. Are they?
They're 10 +1 arrows.
They're just +1 arrows.
Yeah.
But I can use any arrows with the oath bow. It's
Yeah,
not
of course.
just limited. I just
Right.
wanted to make sure I didn't have like a 10-shot deal and then it's
No,
over.
no, you can use any arrows you want with it, but you have, in addition to your magical bow, 10 magical +1 arrows.
Gotcha. Thank you.
He's got magic bows, she's got magic eyes, she got berries. Owl gets nothing. I'm jumping over.
Are you jumping in?
Yeah, I tied a harness.
Okay. all right.
Should we get the encounter table out now?
Yeah, so you're getting dragged behind the ship at this point.
We're basically trolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially so.
Or is that? So that's not
I'm
keel
going
hauling?
back.
Take it off!
No, keel hauling.
Oh, you want me to-
Drag them
Right.
under,
What?
across the
Okay.
keel.
Wait, give me a couple more feet. I think I've still got some shit on me.
No.
I thought it was a form of keel.
What kind of armor are you wearing? It's chain or leather or what is it?
Oh, I'm wearing.
Or none?
I'm wearing like furs and like leather.
Right. Okay. So yeah. Okay.
In the
Oh, that's-
water?
Yeah.
That's worse than I thought it was.
Listen, I'm
So you're
not
doing
very
all right.
smart.
You're doing all right. I mean, you get a mouthful of water once in a while, but you're doing okay. Yeah. So how long are you planning on doing this? Because I got to decide whether or not you're bait.
When I start to. You know what? I'm treating it like a little cardio exercise right now.
Okay.
A few minutes, once I start to feel like I'm losing breath, I'm gonna yell for her to call up.
I'll walk over to Dakir and have the digitation and clean it.
Oh.
I will pull-
That's nice.
I'll help pull you up.
I was getting ready to pull him up anyway. He was slowing us down.
Okay. Oh, how much seawater do you need to drink before you die?
A little more.
And he's just gonna sit down and soak, just bask in the sun as long as he can.
Have a good berry.
I'm good.
Oh,
Save on.
oh, these aren't the great.
Oh, those are the regular ones? Give me the basic shit.
Frankly, this is all I've been eating. I haven't been touching our rations. I figured, we're guests on the ship.
Eventually rations do go bad.
No, Josiini's crew is feeding you guys when you're on the ship.
Well, I
If you want to eat.
sometimes eat the food there, and I sometimes see that the monkey's hungry, and I don't.
I feel like Josiini's put up with so much shit since we got on board.
Literally.
Especially now. But it always smells like shit around here.
Oh, it felt good. That was exfoliating. Skin feels clean.
And oddly enough, the very next day, kind of the same situation occurs where Taro is, approaches you, jumps on your back and starts hopping around gleefully.
Oh no, I've had enough of you.
Seems to be on kind of a mission. you just shoo him off.
You betrayed that trust, monkey.
He walks away. He's holding something in his hands.
Considering not being vegetarian anymore.
That way you don't start shit.
There could be a gnome in the next town.
What would that have to do with anything? Oh, right, I
Hildy
forgot.
eats gnomes.
I forgot.
We've established it.
I didn't say that I eat gnomes.
Just Denny, does Hildy eat gnomes?
She specifically
You
said
think?
they taste delicious.
I've never seen her eat a gnome.
Have you heard her talk about it though?
I haven't talked to her very much at all.
I've heard her talk about eating a lot of things that are sapient.
She specifically said gnomes taste delicious. This was the words that came out
But
of
was that from experience or inference?
This sounds like just standard Hildy stuff.
It sounded pretty confident.
Well, I mean, she sounds pretty confident when she says a lot of stuff.
That's true too.
Weirdly, when she's saying what's correct, she does not sound confident at all.
That's the mystery of Hildy. So 3 days out of ease, the weather's been fairly good until we get to the third day. As the sun rises on this third day, Kiva, you know that this is the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. You're near the equator. The sun, as it rises to its highest point, directly above your head. The day is long, but by the time the afternoon comes around, clouds are starting to roll in, and it's getting darker, despite the fact that this is a very long day. And by the time the sun finally goes down, late in the evening, you're getting a little nervous because of the weather, that you're not going to be able to actually see the moon. And
Oh no.
late, near midnight, for just a short moment, it's been dark, it's been broody, the clouds have, it has rained a little bit, the clouds have been thick, they part just enough on the horizon so that you can see the crest of the moon as it comes up, begins to come up above the horizon. And you know that it's only going to be there for a moment, a short period of time before it dips back down below.
I go. Anyone at the bow of the ship?
No, I mean, if this is like midnight, so unless any of them happen to be up, half the crew would already be, there'd be a couple of the sailors that are just, keeping an eye on things.
So I go up to the bow of the ship where I have the best view of the moon, because I don't feel very confident climbing this fucking crow's nest, and it scares me because it's tall.
You can kind of see the moon off to the east, just below, almost just above the horizon.
And I set up just a little thing where scattering some of the seeds around near around the handrails of the ship, and I do a brief prayer of. I start with a brief prayer asking for absolution, I know what I did wrong, and I want to make amends, and then I say that due to my indiscretion, I'd say this very quietly, but just due to my indiscretion, you have caused death has been caused. So perhaps to cause absolution, I could give you something that lives. basically proposing like I do a spirit quest to find something that I could give in tribute to Luna, she might be peace by.
Okay.
Basically, some kind of plant where I bring the prey back alive.
All right.
Luna's that kind of sandwich.
And you said you spread the seeds around?
I spread the seeds around, and then when I finish my prayer, I just do, like, finish the petition, I just cast Druidcraft just to make them bloom, saying, like, connecting with the spirit of nature.
Okay. All right, so as you're going through this ritual of prayer, basically, causing the seeds to grow and bloom, you notice that as you continue praying that the blooms, as they open and, you know, become at the climax of their growth, begin to glow in the very, very pale moonlight, which is, aside from maybe a lantern on the ship itself, most of the stars are covered and it's dark, and so your primary source of light is coming from the top crest of the moon at the horizon, which seems huge on the horizon, but it's just a sliver, and it covers what looks like miles of sea, but it kind of reflects that glow, and as you're relating what you want, what you're seeking atonement for, you get a vision of a man, and it's someone you know very, very well. And that man he seems very distraught. You can see that he's not crying, but you can see that there are marks down his face, tears, but he's a very strong man, and he would be embarrassed by, that if anybody were to see him, actually, in the process of crying. You know this. He seems to be alone. You don't see much in the background, but the sense that you do get, overwhelmingly, is that he's on the sea. He's on a ship. But you don't know where he's going, and it's nighttime. That kind of fades after a moment, and his face is replaced by the full moon in your mind as it kind of shifts from his face to the moon. And this is the vision of the moon at this point. And then as that vision begins to fade, you watch as the flowers begin to wither and die. And then this ritual may have taken hours, a couple hours, as you lose track of time and you don't know how long, the visions, but certainly the moon would have been there for some period of time on the horizon. And when your vision clears, you can just see it, the bare edge of it, disappear. And the clouds begin to pull in again around, and it begins to sprinkle.
Fuck. Yeah, I thought you were gonna do that. And then did I bring any of the meat with me when we left the tavern?
You didn't say you did, so...
I didn't say I did, but...
So probably
Take
not.
home a to-go box.
Yeah.
Take a box full of meat.
I'm just gonna sit crouchily with my dead, withered flowers in the one corner of the ship. And, won't sleep for the rest of the night.
Luna can be a cruel mistress,
I'm well aware of... Camille is well aware of that side of that part. Keep us a dipshit.
Oh, but she's becoming wise. She's becoming wise.
Yeah, wisdom's gained through experience.
So you have to hunt your husband?
I'm, you know what? Specified alive, everything's good.
Yeah, you definitely got the impression he's alive. If that vision was, real.
Be for the ball.
Yeah, but, him at sea, that's just like normal shit. Like, the ship's right.
Not in our time zone.
Well, we're the same time zone, we're just south.
Got you there.
That's true.
Yeah,
You're right.
what?
You're right.
We're still in the same longitude.
You're right.
New York and Florida are both the same time.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So over the first 5 days The summer solstice has come and gone. As you all know, it would have been great rituals and celebrations both in the cities and without. This would have been a huge druidic celebratory time, especially for not just for the druids of Suna, but Iru and Neve and Luna as well, really, because they all celebrate together the different lunar cycles and solar cycles and equinoxes and so forth. Anything you guys want to do over the next couple days before you are at your halfway point, which is going to put you just west, just approaching that corner of the streets.
I doubled down on with the claw thing with you,
Yeah.
like noticeably.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Inspired.
the extra fighting needed, eh?
Come from a good place, but it's come from somewhere.
Oh, good. It's an outlet. Outlets are good. Pent up feelings turn into explosive rage, which is in conflict, but not when you're on a ship with about 10 other people. Yes.
And I do keep one of the withered flowers,
Okay.
like tied to her amulet.
Cute.
Not really.
Macabre.
Yeah.
Now every day Taro is coming over. And roll a perception. Give me a couple of perceptions, actually.
I feel like the punishment outweighs the crime here.
I don't.
11, 20, 7.
All right, so the third day that it happens, and you kind of shoo him away, realizing that, you know, what he's trying to do. You can smell it on him, as if he's already prepared for it. He seems to become more and more prepared every time he comes over, as if he's thinking this through, you know, this tiny little guy. Narky just kind of looks at the whole thing with amusement, and with some uncertainty, concern that you might try and hurt him, but
The third time I kind of like do one of the, like I unsheath the sword just a little bit while I'm glaring at him.
the reaction you get is not so much from Narky, but from Taro. As Taro kind of stops, and you, with that roll, 20, you notice that his eyes shift over to Howl and look at him like questioningly, and then his eyes move away, and he runs back over to Narky.
When he looks at me, you see.
Oh. I'll lock the assassin.
You know,
I can't guarantee his safety.
give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Fine.
Yeah. And Hal will go back down below deck, light some more incense.
The ritual.
Yes, the ritual, come up and then hash it out with.
You come to talk to me, monkey, again. What are you doing?
I brought a gift, and he now Howl's holding up the last 4 apples that he has.
And Taro reaches out his tiny little claws.
6. I had like 6 apples from not Ease, but when we were in what was the last city we were in before Ease?
Lionsgate?
Yeah, Lionsgate.
So slightly bruised.
They're older.
The mushy eye.
But hey, look,
Hey, the monkey loves
it
them.
wards off the skirt.
And what he tells you back is, I want them all.
Okay, you can have all of these.
I didn't think so either.
You need to leave the whole stuff.
They're not citrus, yeah.
He seems very disappointed.
Don't
No.
worry, don't worry, don't worry.
No.
Listen, I will find you a new target.
Okay. Seems agreeable. Apples.
Take these for now. I will be back.
Did you see him munching on the apple? I mean, he's not even saving him. He's just like...
Everybody else just sees Hal go up to the monkey. And then walks away.
And Narky just, you're going to make him shit everywhere. Put these apples. He seems rage as the monkey just, gobbling up these apples and kind of moving away, even off of Narky, off to the corner of the ship with all this little arms full of apples.
You remain better, Drew.
I've spoken to more animals than you. All right.
Oh my God.
Hold up. I expect there will be no retaliation from this point forward. That's fine. Fair enough. Check.
I've been finding Sparn as well pretty therapeutic for getting all of that.
I'm gonna snap him like a twig, though.
That's good
Only
entertainment.
if you can attach him.
That's a good point.
Well, I think that you guys should try to kill each other for fun and sport.
That's not my specialty in a straight up fight.
I don't know, maybe we'll find a place with a coliseum where we can duke it out for real.
The day we fight, you probably wouldn't see me coming.
There we fight, you already dead.
Oh my god.
There's a new,
Fun to have.
New dynamic here.
a renewed dynamic right now.
The brothers betrayed.
I just don't like when people fuck with me.
Captain Judd, Howell threatened me.
So on the fifth day, toward the end of the fifth day, you're noticing the mountains, the high mountains of Australius and the coastline that is doesn't seem very favorable. You don't see beaches. You see it's just almost like forest and tangle, rocks and cliffs right up to the coastline at this area. As you're making your way around that top horn, you hear the sailors chatting a bit about Australius. Obviously, this is a close neighbor to them, so they must know a little bit about the people that live there. But as far as you guys, probably know very, very little about this kingdom, or what you might presume is a kingdom. You probably know that what it's called and where it's located, and that it's the land mass just north of Tartessos. But what would you know historically? If you want to roll history for your, just what you might know, you're welcome to do so. It's up to you.
I'll use my crit marks.
16.
6. You know, I like it. I like the trees. That's a lot of trees I through.
And these are high mountains, so higher even more so than the ones that you've seen in the Western Kingdoms up in the northern part of Yeru. And they're not covered in snow.
But that's the best part.
So makes climbed it.
What was the highest roll we had?
14.
I had a 16.
Okay.
I
Have you ever slid down a mountain?
Yeah, lots of times. Sometimes not intentionally.
Well, that's the best part, is usually you're knocking someone else down first.
Until you have a boxing match with a bear at the top of a mountain.
We're
gonna do that when we get back.
I would like to point out I am usually the bear in that scenario.
Revenge.
Pardon?
Sorry, not on you.
So you would know. This is Howell. They had the 16. Hildy had the 14. I guess as much as you'd be aware from where you're from, they're not a highly civilized people, but not a whole lot's known about them. What you would probably have heard is how unusual these people look that live here, and what you would. What's that?
Like the wild folk.
No, not at all. They are pale, big noses, big ears, dark hair, and they live in villages. But outside of that, you're not aware of any trade. This is just kind of rumors that you've heard, and probably don't have a lot of contact with people outside of the realm where they live. So, I mean, yeah, this is Astronice. So right here, just north of Tartessos, that whole area up in that corner, mostly mountainous area.
Sounds like my kind of people.
But that also sounds like kind of standard druid behavior. Not soon, as soon as weird. They're really weird druids. They like people. But, other normal druids who, disdain human people. Not you guys are fine. But, there. This is normal. I bet you that they have a lot of these things.
Captain, is there anything to look out for in this area?
Mountains.
You would know that the Astronice people, they don't have ships, they don't have any port cities, that they live in villages close to the mountains and out of sight. There's not much trade with them at all, and that they're generally hostile to outsiders. They make a great beer called Zythos. But most remarkable is that they are a matriarchal society, and that the women are their leaders. They're not Amazon type, but their women fill the role of leadership and head of household. You'd also be aware that they have a very complex worship. You may actually know that there are druids that frequent the area and have enclaves within the area, but you wouldn't know a whole lot about them. And there is a creature, like a half man, half goat, that also lives in that area, that the Australians often have to interact with, that seem to be protectors of forests and animals, but very, very strange creatures that can kind of like, can go, they don't have an allegiance, and so they're, depending on how you're interacting with nature and the environment, is definitely going to sway, how they might perceive you, or those that live up there, or anyone passing through. So you've heard that they're very scary and very, dangerous creatures, quite large.
Yeah.
But you don't know how much of that's rumor and how much is real. You've never even seen anything, and no one that you know in Tartessos has seen
People
anything.
like panic at the sight of them.
Centaur off to your port. It's a bunch of cunts who make a really good beer.
That's essentially what it boils down to.
Great description.
Thank you.
Some rabbit spark notes right there.
That's right. So, okay. So another 5 days or so away from Port Francik, or Freetown, at this point, and you're noticing that as you get a little bit closer or further south, that as I mentioned, the forests kind of come down to the water, where they meet the primal sea, and it starts to get more open, and you're starting to notice caves and coves, grottos, in this area, becoming more of a typical pirate type habitation, or what pirates or those that are on the run or would like to hide. This is almost like the perfect storm of places to do so. And so as we embark on the next 5 days, getting down to Tartessos and Freetown, which we'll run through rather quickly unless there's something that you guys want to do, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And come right back in a few minutes.
See you, mate.
Welcome back. Second half of the journey on the way to Freetown. As the group is passing now the coast of Astronians, on the way to Freetown, soon to be passing Port Tarpin, the first pirate kingdom in Tartessos. And we'll see how all that goes. So, you know it's going to be another 5 days before you arrive at Freetown. Of course, you're familiar with Freetown, Josiini and her crew. It's probably one of the less. It's one of the more controlled of the three main pirate cities. Each one having their own, what they call a pirate king, the city and the surrounds, their kingdom that they control. You're aware that the pirate kings often don't last very long. There are periods where they're toppled, sometimes more than once in a day. But currently, Freetown has had their current leader, their pirate king, for some time, and that, of course, is Esmeralda's father. So, although you probably don't know him, you know Esmeralda through Francisco, because of him, I guess, and of course, more to that story. But in any case, you're familiar with Freetown itself, and quite comfortable with its going-ons. So, over the next 5 days, as you travel down the coastline, you're a lot closer now to the coast. Now that you've gotten in, now that you're starting to pass Astronians, and although you can't see the cities in the distance because you're still a good distance away, you can see the coastline rather clearly. And there are, as there have been the entire voyage, ships that are passing from Tartessos, from the Mulians, from other places, Korth even, places from within the Great Sea itself, traveling north, and then, of course, many trade vessels traveling in the same direction you are. Dakir, you know that you're not too far from your homeland. Gades is just a little bit further south from Tartessos, south of the Strait of Hate and south of the Mulians and to the west a bit. So this is the closest you've been home for some time.
I'm sort of looking in that, even though I'm sure you can't see the island from here.
No.
I'm just looking in that direction kind of wistfully as the sea breeze blows my hair.
And you see lots of islands. The place is just lots of islands everywhere, off to the west and off to the south. Most of them uninhabited, as far as you know. None, of course, Gades, as it's far too far away. But it certainly would give you, bring back some nostalgia, perhaps in this part of the world that you're in.
I'm sort of muttering to myself this. Miss it too. One day.
So as you,
Well,
What?
he has an imaginary friend we don't talk about. Okay.
just noticing.
Where do you all keep coming from?
I've got to be honest here. We're like 10 feet away all the time.
It might be his dead sister. He
You
can't
think
hear
you're being
me,
a lot quieter than you think.
but they're in a bag.
Oh yeah. Isn't like the lockpick a rib or something?
Yes, that's what he
Something
called
like
it.
that, yeah.
But it's all the captain.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you would even get such a crazy idea.
You told us here.
What?
Remember when we were going to hell and your lockpick broke and you told it your
I
I didn't tell her I was.
What's to do with your dead
I didn't tell you I was speaking to them. That would be insanity.
It's very weird that you keep them in a bag next to your crotch, though.
I'm recycling my family's bones. Why not near my crotch or my hip?
Closer to your crotch than your head is.
Would you like me to tie them around? I'm trying to have a moment.
Will you try to have a character moment?
I trot away.
It's a small boat.
I trot.
And just for clarification, the only one that has a cabin is Josiini and Hildy.
I would like to point out that this is why you do stuff in the middle of the night.
Dudley's the one that paid for it as soon as Francisco left.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, even Josiini's crew, they sleep on the deck, or in the hallway underneath, where the cabin area is, which is Very
I
narrow.
don't think he's taking me up on the offer, though. I'll keep asking him, though. Like, show me the bones and
Show
in
me
my
the
cabinet.
bones.
Which bone?
Just gonna leave that open-ended.
You are all the most crass people I've ever met in my life.
I like it when the centaur blushes.
Aww,
Blush.
a nice cinnamon color.
Blood of my enemies that have stained my cheeks.
Cinnamon tar.
It's the enemy your embarrassment.
I contemplate just jumping in the water.
Do it.
It was rather racing.
It could all be over.
They don't understand you. Just swim away.
I answer you. It's tempting, but we have to see this through.
So the further you go, the further south you go, the coastline is just riddled with coves and grottos and rocky shallows. You still see the thick forest inland. You're noticing the majestic waterfalls that rise from the wilderness on the mainland. The mountainous area inland as well. Further south, you begin to see tendrils of smoke that rise lazily into the sky that soon gives way to a sprawling port city, packed with sailing vessels of every sort. Though not nearly as elegant as these, there is a vibrance to the place that's no less alluring, as you can hear the sound coming over the waves of music, accompanied by peals of laughter, shouts and hollers that crowd and brought from brothels and shanty-like taverns that crowd the docks. The whole city appears to be of wood construction with little regard to aesthetics or symmetry at all. The only exception being the stone compounds that seem to rise among them like giants in a field of rats. As ships make their way in and out of the port, they give each other a wide berth, including your own. As Josiini, the captain, keeps a close eye on those that might wander too close. So you're getting down toward Port Tarpon now, as you're about a day away from Freetown, and being so close to so many ports, you're seeing a lot more heavier traffic.
You know, I still can't get over the fact that Freetown is the controlled one.
Oh. Wait, really?
Well, that's what she said.
Less lawless, I should say. Less lawless.
My parents were from Port Tarpon, but I didn't grow up there. It's far too dangerous.
Yes, Port Tarpon is, as Josiini would know and can relate, is quite the raucous town. Far more lawless, far more. It's the main slavery port in Tartessos from that gather slaves and then sell them to the miners that mine the silver and tin in the interior of Tartessos. It's quite a nasty business, and there's a lot of kingdoms that are doing their best to put an end to it. But for the time being, unfortunately, that is still a major part of their economy.
Are we stopping there, dear?
Port Tarpon?
Yeah.
Wouldn't if I were you.
Alright.
As you begin to move past Port Tarpon, you notice that there's among the many ships that are heading in various directions. In the distance behind you, Josiini, you and your navigator would be the first to notice this as you're keeping a close eye on all the ships all around you. A large three-masted ship has slowly yet very deliberately moved into position about a league behind your own. Its sails fill with the wind as it picks up speed. And although your ship, Queen of Tartessos, is already traveling under full sail, she might as well be three sheets to the wind, because this large vessel seems to pick up speed, gather speed as its sails are filled, and it starts clearly beginning to overtake you. And more, I mean, it's going to take some time, as you might know, at sea, so you have time to react. Narki, your navigator, staring through a spyglass at this fast approaching ship, and of course, Taro is right next to him, chittering nervously at his shoulder, looking through his own little wooden spyglass in a pantomime motion, and he kind of looks over, loud enough for all of you to hear. I recognize our colors. Captain. It's Panchero. We won't outrun him.
We better prepare for a boarding.
Is this a combat warden or is this a peaceful resolution warden?
We're about to find out.
Even you're not sure. You know who Panchero is. But I'll reveal that in just a moment.
I'm hiding.
Would it be better to go to
Natural
the store
20.
so he
Did you really?
I really did.
You're hiding in the shadow of the mast once again. Or you could actually be hiding in the hallway leading to the cabins.
I want to be out where I can take a shot. I have my bow out.
Okay, so you're
The mast.
hiding behind the mast.
So,
So you know who this fellow is, this pirate that is moving quickly to overtake you, and even you're not sure what the intentions of this fellow are. As they get closer, what do you want to do?
I'll tell my crew to kind of be prepared for anything, make sure that they all are armed, but not looking too aggressive, not too much defense yet.
Okay. As it gets closer, maybe within a couple hundred yards or so, your crew is starting to look very nervous. They have their rapiers. Narki is kind of glancing at you, kind of almost expectantly. What do you think the expectation is of Ontario? I know that you had some history with him, but he seems very aggressive today.
Are they close enough that we can call out and see if we can get
They're still a couple hundred yards behind you. And so you can see that they're clearly moving. I mean, they're within firing range if they wanted to fire on you with the ballistas. You have a singular ballista that's at the front of the bow of your ship. You don't have any in the back or on the sides. The size of your ship is so small. This one, you are aware this type of ship is capable of ramming you. Plus, it has probably half a dozen or more ballista that if it wanted to, it could already have begun firing upon you. They have not done that, but they are still in a move to overtake and seem to be kind of moving a little bit off to the side so that their intent is clearly that they are planning to come up aside, alongside.
Just to hold on to in case you need it.
It seems the mood has changed around here. Are we okay?
This could get a little tense, but let's find out. They're not firing. That's a good sign.
Do we want to wait for them to get up here? Do we want to try and preempt them?
I don't. I've had dealings with him before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I know that if this is a better sign than usual, that he's just pulling up alongside?
He's moving very aggressively toward you. It's a good sign that he hasn't fired upon you. But at the same time, he seems hell-bent on overtaking you. And so you don't know if you're about to be boarded. You don't know if it's possible that there is a warrant out or some sort of a bounty on your ship for some reason, or on you, or anybody in your crew. It could be a number of different reasons. What you do know is that he is the son of the Pirate King of Freetown and Esmeralda's brother.
This is probably not good for us.
Well, you turn
Who
it
is this guy?
around. That way, though.
This is the son of the Pirate King, and he's, depending on what he knows, he could be still a little upset with me, maybe.
Francisco's wife's dad?
Yeah.
Brother.
Wife's...
Well, the Pirate King is.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, wife's dad's brother.
And you know the Pirate King of Freetown, his name is Gregani, the Burdened.
Do we have... Oh, did they leave any of their personal effects on here that could be traced back to them? Because I imagine if they're coming this close, they're probably going to board us and probably going to look around for signs of Esmeralda.
Well, Hildy,
That's it. Yeah,
we
have you noticed anything in the room that looks like it would tie us to Francisco or Esmeralda or the children?
Honestly, I doubt Hildy would have looked for anything, but
Roll perception.
Was the room still smelling sick?
Well, that could have been any of us.
Hope he didn't have a black light.
13.
Okay. Everything seems actually remarkably clean.
As they're having this conversation and talking more and more, I'm just hearing more and more about how it's hostile, so I'm notching an arrow from my hiding spot and just lining it up, waiting for confirmation that we're starting a fight.
Okay.
Do you keep any documentation of who's been on this ship?
Well, not of Francisco and Esmeralda, that's for sure.
Okay. Okay.
So we
I
just
think our best case scenario is if they have a look around and don't find what they're looking for. We all played dumb about having seen them, right?
We could just kill him.
After that.
I'm sorry.
As the conversation's going down, like putting the arrow away, and then I put it back.
Is this one of your +1 magical arrows?
No.
Oh, okay.
And if they're going to catch us, I think we might as well make sure that they don't get on board.
Have you ever had anybody try to burn a ship? Burn your ship?
Not my ship.
Not your ship. Have you ever tried to do it to somebody else's?
Oh, sure, of course.
Oh, I've done that. I've done it once, and it wasn't a very good experience, but I did it.
Okay, we should be prepared to try and enact that prior experience if needed.
Oh, my plan is to be a bear and jump on the ship, and then jump back.
You be a flaming man?
No, but I could be a problem.
That would be handy.
I can eat sail.
What do you wild shape into? A problem.
This ship is easily twice as wide as the Queen of Tartessos and probably 2.5 times the length. You can see at this distance, you can see the crew of that other ship moving around on it. There must be at least 40 of them.
40?
40, yeah. And there is a large, tall man with dark hair near the bow as the ship gets closer and closer with his eyes intent, gazing at your ship.
do they look like they're getting boarding hooks and grapples and things ready?
Do they have a Corvus?
Roll perception if you want to see if you don't see a lot of movement.
15.
Roll perception, see if some cannons have been armed.
Well, there's no cannons in this world, but yeah.
It's a ballista, I imagine, would take a little bit longer.
Well, it does. I mean, it takes an action to arm it.
We would also hear that.
So 15 to see if they're...
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be. They're. Are you with Josiini?
Sorry?
Are you with Josiini at this time as you're?
I suppose
I mean,
they're
just
all there.
okay. So just to kind of give you some perspective, they all seem to be in positions that could easily be offensive. I mean, become an offensive action as they're standing near the ballista. The ballistas appear to have their bolts, but they're not like. You don't see them holding, like swinging hooks and, or readying sabers or anything like that. They're all just very still and watching quietly. And their eyes seem to be just as much on the man at the front of their ship as much as the Queen of Tartessos. Narki's kind of looking over. Shall we strike the sheets? Slow down and stop for them, or do you intend to try and maneuver away somehow?
Well, I don't think we can outrun them, and we're certainly not going to go to land and abandon the ship, so.
I don't think we would make it. He looks over and it's about 2 miles to the coast. So do you want to slow down? Stop?
Yeah, let's slow down and stop. Play it cool, guys.
All right. So over the next few minutes, your ship slows, and the larger one slowly comes up beside it, and it's like being in a rowboat looking at the Titanic as the thing is just kind of moving next to you. Lots of heads looking down upon you as the deck of their ship is so much higher. You can see that it's probably got 2 or 3 levels underneath. There's no cannon hatches or anything like that, but they do have, of course, several ballista all around the ship. And as they get close and get to a point that they're parallel with you, lines are thrown over. Naturally, your crew would take them and lash on to the ship so that you're together. Are you gonna allow that?
Yeah, for now we're gonna allow that.
Okay. And then after that, then a kind of like a rope ladder, one of those wide rope, I guess you call it a ladder, is kind of thrown over. And it extends all the way down 15 feet or so to just above your deck. And as you see the heads kind of peeking over, they're silhouetted in the sunlight. It's a nice day. One figure throws a leg over and begins to climb down. And when he gets to your deck and turns around, you can see the long braided dark hair. He's got in his hair are colorful gems. He's got this bright toothy smile that he's just kind of grinning, but lots of gold teeth kind of intermixed within. He's got a very dark complexion, green, piercing eyes that match Esmeralda's. I mean, that's the first thing you think when you see, and you always think when you see him, is how identical the brother and sister, their eyes are. And if you've seen the father, probably, at least from a distance even, seems like a family trait. He's got a long beard that's also braided and has lots of gems, and he's wearing just a ton of jewelry. Necklaces, bracelets, earrings in his nose, lots of tattoos. He's wearing a chain shirt that he seems to move very easily in, and it kind of glitters brightly. And he's got this colorful scarf around his waist, and boots, and you hear the kind of clinking of the jewelry as it moves against each other as he makes the deck. He turns around and he's got that big gold and white toothy smile, and he opens his arms wide. Josiini, come to me, come here. It's good to see you.
I'm going to return his big smile and give him a big old hug and tell him he's looking very, you're looking very sparkly today.
I feel sparkly now that I have seen you. I recognize the Queen of Tartessos from such a distance, and I thought for a moment, which way she run?
You had us scared for a second, but...
Oh, you never have anything to fear from me. Come on, Josiini.
No?
I mean, we've had our differences. You would not become my lover. You could have been a princess yourself. But you chose the open waters.
Married to the sea.
Hey, married to the sea. But that was not your first marriage, now was it?
No.
Well, maybe someday I will convince you to consider a second marriage. You have something to drink. I need ale. I am parched. I know you have something better than what we carry.
I will. I'll get my girls to get you something to drink immediately.
He's down there on his own. None of his crew have followed him down.
Still behind.
Stand down. Make him feel it.
I
Oh.
don't think any of you can see me.
What'd you roll?
29 total.
Okay, yeah. Nobody's.
Oh, I forgot that we had a cinnamon bar on the ship.
I'm
don't know
happy.
why.
I'm acting happy to see him, but I also give all of my crew a knowing glance. It's like to still be prepared for it.
They seem all a little bit nervous, as you would expect. With this hulking ship and the crew and this fellow, knowing who he is, of course, is very putting off. So, but he seems very jovial.
How's business?
Well, I don't do these slaves. I think that is terrible business. It's a being. But the Vikya have been down. The season of the Vikya have come, and And we have taken a number of their ships this year. Myself, my ship, I have taken 2, maybe 3 of them, I believe, yes. One laden with treasures. You would be so impressed. As a matter of fact, I have something for you, as I've been thinking of you for some time. And he reaches into a pocket within his long coat, and he pulls out this string of rubies, and he beckons you over. And almost in a very intimate fashion, he kind of moves close and then behind you and pulls the string of rubies up and around your neck, clasps it, and then turns you around really close. And for a moment, you think he's gonna, like, come in for some sugar. But he has enough self-control. He kind of slowly pushes away. It is more beautiful on you than I thought. It matches your hair perfectly.
Yeah, well, you've always been a flatterer. You've always known what I liked.
I am going to ask you again to marry me today. You know that.
But I'm going to tell you again, it's not possible.
It will only be the 30th or 40th time.
Why break our streak?
Yes. But if you marry me, Josiini, I will never have to kill you. Because, I mean, a man cannot kill his wife, even if he smuggled her sister out of the country and his father is furious about it. Which he does not know, by the way, that you were the one that did it. I kept that secret for you.
If I knew anything about that, I would say, with a wink, thank you very much.
You and I know the truth, but if my father ever found out, he would order me to kill you. It would be a very difficult decision to kill the one I love and who I know will marry me one day, or to go against my father. I mean, I will be the Pirate King. I will be the Pirate King. You could be the Pirate Queen of Freetown.
We might have something to talk about at that point, huh?
Aye, yes. My father is getting old, and, you know, things happen, accidents, you know. I'm kidding.
When opportunity knocks, right?
Yes, well, he is family. I can never turn against him. But I have to ask you, as I ask you every time, about getting married, of course, but have you seen my sister? I just need to know she's okay and she's safe, and that fool Francisco has not sold her into a terrible life that I will have to come rescue her from someday, and that she is well taken care of. I know you know. Do not act as if you don't. I won't say anything. You know me.
I would say that the last time I saw your sister, her smile was as bright and her eyes were as sparkly as yours.
Oh, she hates you. You know that.
Yes, well.
She hates you. You remind her so much. Well, of course, of the history that you have with Francisco and...
Yes, keep your voice down. They're very nosy, this group that I'm following.
Oh, you think they don't know? They must.
Paul's getting more.
I see you have some new friends. What a day, madam. I am pleased to meet you. I am Planchario Bengar.
I can't even say that.
In my country, it means iron hung. Right, Josiini? You know what I mean, eh?
I can verify I've seen.
Oh, she's more than seen. Flatter yourself.
I'm a lady. Have you not seen my rubies?
Yes, of course. I will shower you with more and more if you marry me. You know how that is, but I am very pleased and curious about this Father Day that you have on board. Why such a strange passenger? He's talking to you as much as her.
Why am I strange? But
Well, no, but I mean, I don't mean that you are strange, but it is strange to see you on the ship.
She's a job. I don't ask too many questions.
You are a job. What kind of job might you be?
I'm a lot of work. That might be.
You're very old.
She's housebroken.
And I'm
Yes,
very
who knows?
tall. Very tall.
Yes, you are. He's probably about 2-3 inches shorter than you, as tall and big as he is. Shorter than you.
Well, you should have seen me when I was younger, before I got all hunched over.
Oh, I can imagine you are a giant. I heard that other Tortedai are, well, I have seen some Tortedai that seem to be shorter, but maybe you're a giant among them.
Maybe.
Are you of the blood? Are you the pure Tortedai?
No.
You look like you've lived forever.
My father is.
Oh, what was his name? You know what? I would not know him anyway, so don't even worry.
His name was Lugas.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, he's very old.
Should go really far back.
She's like, I don't know, I just call him Dad.
Backstory.
You can go, like,
Well, I was born in a cave.
reborn, it feels more like.
And look, you have a strange, wild-looking man and a druid, and
Don't make fun of his forehead, though. That bothers him.
Oh, these two are a lot of fun. They go at it like, well, you know.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch
no.
the phrasing. Watch the phrasing.
oh, they're lovers. I understand.
I have my suspicions.
Yes, well, that is okay. I mean, this world should be full of love. You know, like when you would marry me and become the queen of Tartessos. Well, my ambitions are running high, me, but the queen of Freetown, at least to begin. And I would promise you would be my only wife in Freetown.
It's a offer I can hardly refuse, but I'm going to go with the hardly part.
Now, what is this behind? Roll another.
I haven't moved.
Yeah, well,
No.
he has.
13.
Did you put your arrow away?
No.
No.
Fuck.
And what is a strange shadow behind the mast? Is it a centaur? Come out, my friend, come out. Oh, put that away. You see what I'm wearing? There. It's deflected many an arrow. Besides, I am a friend of the Sylvan and the centaur. Welcome. Well, this is not my ship, but welcome to, the waters of Tartessos.
I looked very annoyed that he saw me and kind of just poked my head out.
Oh, that's what you were.
I forgot you were on the ship for like 30 seconds.
I see if I go swim.
I forgot I was.
Where were you, Dakir?
I don't know.
Oh,
You should see when he blushes, his cheeks get red like these rubies.
Oh, quite a cinemator.
Scimitar.
Oh, gosh.
Why, it's a strange thing to call. You do have kind of a cinnamon look to you.
Thank you.
The color, but I would not just, to disgrace your name in such a way.
It's his love of spices. Don't worry, it's very endearing, okay?
I am Planchardio Pingar. What is your name?
The Kirana Gate.
I don't know your family. I don't know your tribe, but again, I am a friend of anyone from Gades, and you're welcome in Freetown. I hope you enjoy. I assume that's where you're going.
That's where we're heading. We should have a conversation about what business is like there. I've been looking to pick up some stuff while I'm on board.
I may have. Go see a man in the ore district that has silver ore. Where are you going?
Where are we going?
From Freetown.
Of course.
North. Port Francik, yes. Yes, there is a good market for it there. You tell him I want him to sell you the ore at a very good price. And his name is Sextonio. Sextonio is an old friend of mine. He owes me a few favors. I might be a little afraid when you mention my name because we have had, a few disagreements about some things. But in any case, he will give you a good price. I can assure you of that. And then, yes, then you will fill your haul to go to Port Francik.
You are a prince.
Hey, oh.
I said, hull. So at this point, everyone is kind of relaxed on the ship, and you notice that those that were keeping a sharp eye out from his ship on him and what was going on your vessel, many of them have kind of like wandered away. There's still a few of them that are paying close attention, though. He chats with you for a while, just about inane things, and not just mundane things, the sea and the weather and blah 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 blah, and continues to ask if you want to marry him, etc., etc. And it goes on for about an hour or so before he just finally seems to give up on the prospect of marriage right away, And anything else, he seems pleased with the information he got from you about Esmeralda. If you see my sister again in the near future, please tell her that I send my love. And that although it is not safe for her family to come back to Freetown or anywhere in Tartessos for a while, I'm thinking about her, and I will send word as soon as it is safe for them to return. I hope that will be one day soon, although I do not wish for the death of my father, but I know that he's very hurt by her abandoning the family.
I will let her know, and I give him a big kiss on the cheek.
And he kind of almost moves to angle his lips closer to yours, but again, holds himself back, seems to have that restraint, and shockingly a gentleman the way he is. And you've kind of known that of him, but you've also seen another side of him where he can be just absolutely ruthless. Not with you. It hasn't been with you, but whenever you've done things in coordination going after Vikya ships, which the Vikya among all others, even the Luca, he has just a hatred for, and he will chase them down to the ends of the earth if he can. So that he doesn't talk much about that, but he might, what he mentioned about the Vikya earlier, he seems proud of his conquests. And obviously for years during the sailing season, when the weather's right, and the Vikya do raid quite a lot along the coasts, it's kind of like open season. But finally, with the final wave, he climbs back onto his ship, and within a few moments, the larger ship kind of departs and moves off, heading back up north.
Do you have nymph blood?
Nymph?
Never seen anyone lost by him like that.
Well, he likes the tease and the chase.
A gentleman
It's a good
pirate, for
lesson
sure.
to learn. Don't be caught too easily.
That's one of the things I learned.
The Kier should learn that lesson.
Never been caught.
I wonder if he killed your husband.
That was the worst time for you to think.
So as you
I
can,
didn't hear you say that.
How'd you talk about? Never mind. I'm not gonna.
I didn't hear you fucking say that.
I don't know that he did.
I didn't hear you fucking say that.
I don't understand. Do you want me to say it loud?
I would like for you to stop talking about how my husband might be fucking dead
He
or
might be alive.
Yeah, glass half full. Glass half full.
has Kiva shared any of her vision with the others or not?
I have shared jack all with them.
Okay.
But after that, I will have a sidebar with him later.
Okay, all right.
With me?
Yeah, because I trust you the most. I think it's fun to mock you, and you're a person protected if you
And you're a
open your mouth
pirate.
thing.
Some kind of pirate.
You're a privateer.
You're the star of a romance novel.
That's right.
You're the star. You're the protagonist
female-
and
the
antagonist
female
of the same
mafia.
romance novel.
Female mafia. A redheaded female
You're the
mafia.
protag of plot A, and then Esmeralda's the protag of plot B.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm just gonna walk to the front of the ship and put my leg up, like on the romance novels, and just the wind blowing in my hair and my new ruby necklace. I'm just gonna have a
And then
a Beyonce moment.
the low cut thing.
Yeah.
It's like not showing anything, but it does just breeze in a specific
The
way.
top of a heaving bosom.
I
Yes.
swore her dress had
Just
more buttons.
nothing
than
but
that.
decolletage.
It is getting warmer, It's a battle for us to keep our clothes on.
And the crew, the women in her crew, you just hear them chattering, and I can't believe, why does she not submit to him? What is wrong with her? She could be the queen. And just
Submit.
chattering back and forth about, why did she give in? As
Not
they
the
seem
king
to
yet.
admire your position in his world. So you're a day away from Freetown at this point. Anything you wanted to do prior to your final arc into the port?
After we have our spar, I would like to pull you over somewhere we could have a private conversation, because I'm well aware of how everyone shouts on this ship, and like,
Wait, hold on. You're pulling me to the side. What is this about? Before you start, they're already getting ideas. I'll see Dakir looking at it.
You sit behind the mast.
Doesn't work anymore, asshole!
why do you need
I used it too early.
Do you want to use my cabin?
Why need to have a private word with you? So you would be so kind as to we'll both pretend this isn't happening, or at least I will.
You are not making this sound any better, but I guess so.
Wow, first dates. All right.
Oh, swear.
No, it's fine.
Oh no, the batteries come out.
No, it's fine.
Okay, Kiva and I are going into Hildy's cabin.
I'm okay.
Couldn't care less.
The cabin's about this big.
Oh god, this is quite intimate. What's this about?
Do you know, what do you know of bots?
You want me to leave?
I would fucking love that! It's like,
That's my cabin. All right.
Welcome to my curse.
So you guys just walk into Ellie's cabin, you just hanging there.
Oh, Hilda, can we have the room for a little bit?
Turn the sheet over.
It won't be necessary, we won't be using the bed. Oh, wait.
Kinky.
Yeah, we won't be using the bed.
Tell you leave.
there's no way to make this better.
Oh god, what are we doing?
What
What do I know about?
What do you know about gods?
What do I know about gods?
Do you have or you think
Something. Would
like
that be a religion check?
Yes, it would.
I'm sure
Woo! I got a 13.
I mean, from where you're from, of course, you know about Iru. You know about Suna, of course. You know about maybe some slight familiarity or idea of the Sylvan goddess Neve.
As he remembers, he does that.
Yeah, so I mean, some of the more, the Luna, of course, the more the more popular gods you'd be familiar with.
I know they're supposed to be big beings above us. That's about it. I'm familiar a little bit with Suna and with Iru.
do you follow them?
No, I actually do not. I don't trouble myself with religious ceremonies.
Well, when I was young, and joined the Circle of Druids, I chose to follow Luna. You know, a goddess of the moon, a goddess of like night and sometimes of trickery, sometimes of darkness. She's a great patron to have, but she can be jealous.
Jealous.
She can guard what is hers.
Wait. Just you think that we're in a relationship because I promise we are not.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh shit, do I have to wait till night to do that?
Oh no, don't worry, this will get a bit worse.
Oh!
Oh, don't worry, it's not you.
Oh!
Can we all hear hell from outside the cabin?
Probably gonna yell.
Oh,
It's not what it looks like!
I mean, if he's yelling, yeah. Otherwise, meanwhile on deck, the sailors are like, why are they so quiet? You know, Francisco and why they were so loud? These are so quiet.
Nothing to see here, I promise! Coming from under the deck. Okay, not me.
no.
Not me. You?
When I married my husband, Njord, he and I tried to compromise, tried to find a way for both of us to be happy,
Okay.
and it did not go very well.
Oh, trouble in paradise.
No, Luna decided that that was a bad idea.
Oh, trouble up there.
Trouble in a different paradise.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure how much of that plan is left. I'm not sure how much I did to it. And,
Wait, your husband's clan? Oh,
well, I joined it. I was with them for a couple of years. That's how I know how to be angry effectively, as opposed to just the impotent rage of a formal noblewoman who decided that running in the wilderness is a much better idea.
And pause. DM. That is. Oh fuck. What is the word?
Vikya?
Vikya.
Yeah, you'd be familiar with them as well. They are kind of like our historical Vikings, but and from that same area, there's an island that they inhabit. There's two things that you would know about the Vikya. They often raid during the season when they're not frozen in, but they also, being very close to Tirnanyog, which is the home of the Vergadorves, they're not. The Vergadorves are not a seafaring people. They contract with the Vikya under their flag as trade to trade, and as long as they're trading under their flag, then they're not allowed to be attacked by the other kingdoms.
Like Carthage, Phoenicia, kind of stuff.
But if they're not trading under their flag, then they could very well be raiders.
And also, whenever the pirate prince on your ship, every time he mentions the word Dikya, Kiva stiffens and glares at him.
yeah, I caught on to that.
So,
You're-
my husband survived. I don't know how fine he is, but it's been nearly half a year. I've been sending letters, I've been trying to...
Have you gotten anything back from him?
I haven't gotten anything back from him, but I recently found out that it was Luna's disagreement with the way I tried to compromise. So, last solstice, I don't know if you remember, but right before I got very, very angry and aggressive. Yeah, that was the solstice. I sent a petition to Luna.
That was the other night?
That was the other night, yeah. Got a vision from her of my husband in a very sorry state, but more to the point, he's a shipwright. He builds the ships. He doesn't often sail. He was at sea and rather distraught. And then immediately after, I hear of a pirate prince saying that he captured 3 Vistia. And that can't be a coincidence.
No.
Luna's many things, but she's not. You'd think a goddess of like night and of the moon, and she'd be good. No, she's not subtle.
I mean, in all fairness, darkness is not subtle. It kind of is in your face. Interesting.
I need to know if my husband is going to be at Freeport, and if he is, I think I might need your help to find him.
It wouldn't even be Freeport. It would be Port Francik, correct?
Is
Because
that
that's where the slave trade is.
That's where the majority of the slave trade is.
Is
I
that
think-
where the...
Our answers would be a little further north, probably.
Well done.
Unless he was taken to the capital via town sacrifice.
Didn't he say he just doesn't fuck with the slave trade?
Yeah. He said temple business. Would not do it. Probably sold a bunch of people into slavery.
He said that,
do it.
but he also said a lot of shit about Vistia.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember him saying 3 ships.
Yeah, he was very. Yeah, he did not speak
But he did not-
favorably of the
I didn't know
Vikya.
he said people. I just heard ship.
Right, that he had taken 3 ships and their treasures. One was particularly heavy with treasure.
How many people are on one of those ships? Did you know?
I don't know the size of the vessels, but it depends on how many rowers they got, and it could be 50, it could be 2,
Okay.
and honestly, he I can't imagine him being captain of the vessel.
Probably not if he builds it, but... Okay, so when we arrive at shore, you might want to get in contact with your people and see if you can get a more direct conversation with what's going over on Vikia.
I might need your help to either find him or get him back.
I mean, I'm willing to help, of course. We need a plan and we need to figure out where he is first.
Yes, that is.
He might be just home, relaxed, and maybe Luna was just showing you a possible future if you continue down this path of debauchery or whatnot.
I believed that truly with all of my heart for about 6 months, and then had a very rude awakening, and I'm not liking the way that the story is being told. I'd like something better.
Well, I can't promise.
I don't want a promise. I want a chance.
No, let me finish.
I
I can't promise that he's okay, but I can promise that I will do what I can to help you. We need to figure out now when if we're going to investigate around here and see if possibly a ship that he was on was taken. Right now we're on a bit of a mission at the moment, but
we took such a long path to get on this mission that, frankly, if something bad hasn't already happened, it's unlikely to happen soon.
right. I'll see if we can get Hildegard on board with that.
I don't know.
And then I'll work on Dekia.
I don't know if she believes in a vision, though. She doesn't really believe in gods. I mean, she hasn't been subtle.
I think, between you and me, I think she might... She's a lot more than she lets on.
That doesn't change my point.
She's a god.
Oh, pal. That's not good. How? I guess because she's here, the world hasn't cracked.
Anyway, before they think that we're having sex in here, dropping all pretenses, I think we need to check in with the rest of them, see what's going on. But I appreciate you coming with this.
I would rather you not mention anything about.
Don't worry, I'll be real subtle about going to Victor.
Oh, no, not that. Just not anything about how bad things got with Luna. About how bad that ended.
I'll be honest, don't even know who Luna is.
Where are you from, anyway?
And he winks and walks out the room.
I wait a second and then walk out the room a little bit, like a couple seconds later, just looking kind of baffled.
That was a heavy conversation. Come on, friends.
We're all watching. They come out.
So is the crew.
There's a lot of eyes on me.
I will expend one use of my wild shape to become a little small ferret, and I'll just vanish into the woodwork.
Okay. You're woo. As you-
How are you going into port?
So Josiini has Narke set the heading into a slow arcing starboard tack. This is the initial maneuver that'll take you into the Queen of Tartessos into the port of Freetown. The port itself is smaller by half than Port Tarpon, but it has that same kind of carnival atmosphere. You can hear the sailors' gruff laughter. You can hear the jeering of the prostitutes, merchants hawking their wares, auctioneers bid calling, up and down the port. The harbor's no less enthusiastic as the one you just passed the day before. Gazing over the whole of it, Freetown appears less ramshackle than Port Tarpon. The buildings here utilize more stone and less wood. It has a more congruent appearance, as if the city was actually planned. Of course, the opulent compounds that rise above the others. It still has that kind of same look. You can tell in this town, like you can in all the pirate towns, who has the money and who has the influence. As these walled compounds rise above all others. As you make your way into the dock, there's certainly enthusiasm among the crew. A lot of them feel like they're home, and they know exactly what to do as they quickly find a berth and tie up. And some of them, as have already been arranged with just Captain Josiini in advance, are taking shore leave while the small skeleton crew maintains the ship, and then there seems to be a schedule to change off. Josiini would have an idea that even though she has a lead on negotiating for some civil war, it's probably going to take her a couple days to get this done, because transactions in the pirate world are a lot more, when they're in the cities, the pirate cities themselves have a lot more ceremony about them than if you were out on the high sea. And negotiation can take time. And there could be a lot of haggling and maneuvering to get the right price. So she's expecting to be here for at least a couple of days. So what would you guys like to do in Freetown during this time? When you're here now, it's loud, and just like in Ease, which is a much more elegant, beautiful city, it seems like a lot of the action is forward toward the docks, and it just kind of sprawls along the coastline. It doesn't get really deep like Ease does. It's not walled. It's not a walled city. But you can also see, aside from some of those buildings that I mentioned that were obviously more affluent, what kind of resembles a palace-like structure, kind of in the center, close to the docks.
Being familiar with the Victia, do I notice any of their ships being in harbor?
No. Well, I mean, just what's your perception? I mean, I'm not going to have you roll a perception. It's not even, because there are none.
Got it.
None. And you haven't seen any this whole way down.
I'm gonna take off my ruby necklace because I don't feel like it's gonna help me get a better price on the silver ore.
Okay.
By walking in there all.
All right. That was in the back of my mind. I was wondering. Okay.
I'll keep it handy in case I need it for something.
As you can see, I'm quite poor. I need it.
Not gonna wear it. Not gonna wear it in town.
All right.
I'm gonna let my reputation speak for me, not my jewelry.
Well, not for this.
That's right.
Josiini would be aware of a reasonable tavern that's wouldn't characterize as safe, but assuming you could hold your own, she would probably recommend one that's she's more known at. Even though a lot of her crew, they don't frequent so much the taverns here because they go home. There would be areas, there would be a tavern or so that would be more familiar.
Tell them you're with the Queen of Tartessos. And mind your manners.
But she'll recommend Pergodi. The Pergodi. Pergodi.
Pergodi.
That's delicious.
Do they make pierogies at Victia?
Pergodi. The tavern's called Pergodi.
Pierogies.
I recommend the Tavern Pergodi.
Yeah,
And
she
mind your manners.
she would know that's the name of the proprietor as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
I've got nothing to do here. Do you need help with anything?
Oh, I think my negotiations are better done with the two of us.
No. I'll keep myself busy somewhere.
I need help carrying things.
Ask Helen.
Howl's gonna get drunk.
Makes him stronger.
Why don't you do it?
Huh?
Why don't you carry it? Be friends. Make friends with Hildy.
I feel like she asked me because I'm half horse.
Okay, and you have a lot of advantages to your friendship.
If you want somebody to reach things off tall shelves, I can do that for you.
I'm not gonna reward her racism. She needs to learn it's not Hawaii.
I mean,
I have a sugar cube.
I'll leave. Come on.
Towards racism? Or that was for race?
Specious.
Right. Hildy's gonna look for a shop that sells bottles, bags, containers, things like that for her harvesting guide.
Okay, all right. There's a lot of shops along the docks. It's very crowded.
All right.
Go ahead and roll a D30. And if you want to roll a perception, if you get high enough, then I'll give you advantage.
15,
Okay?
4
Okay.
on the D30.
All right, so in the general area that you're in right now, depending on how long you want to search along the dock, you're seeing an armory, you're seeing a blacksmith, you're seeing a tattoo shop. There's a jeweler, gem cutter, in the area that you're at right now, just off the ship. Are you guys all together at this point? Like standing off the ship, looking at the dock, the shops around?
I suppose we start together.
Walk somewhere.
I'm out.
Well,
Sugar Cube, I'm out.
Oh. Oh, you don't want to be here for that racism?
Hildy's very smart. She'll just go to the tavern. Go buy some empty bottles and sorts.
Okay, all right, going to the tavern. Are you all going to the tavern, or?
I'm gonna walk around the harbor, around the ports a little bit. Ask around about some Vikia ships that have been.
Taken.
Hey, just curious about what's going on with that. I heard some things about the Vikia.
Okay, all right, I'll get back to you on that.
Probably.
I'm awkwardly following Hildy, and then I'm going to try and have an honest conversation, semi-honest conversation, a conversation with Hildy.
Okay, so the two of you are going together.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go, since
Also-
no one needs me for anything, I'm just gonna get information and kind of absorb
I
the
asked you for help.
political climate.
Okay.
Offered you a sugar.
I just want general ideas of what's going on locally,
Okay.
and maybe any word from up north.
All right, and just sitting.
I'm gonna make sure that the rest of the stuff that we're unloading gets unloaded and where it's going, and do my business, update my captain's log, and I'll end up at the tavern when my business is.
Okay. All right. So that's a few hours of work as you are coordinating all of that. So you guys get to the tavern, and the two of you, and it's very loud. There's music playing. What appears to be a couple of minstrels that are kind of playing stringed instruments off of each other, and this is very fast-moving, fast-paced, dueling lyres type thing going on, and they're singing and they're playing very quickly. The people are into it. It's not a huge tavern, but there must be 50 or 60 patrons in there, and we're at the middle of the day at this point. And many of them are drunk. A couple of fights break out here and there. Someone gets thrown through a window. It has an upstairs area. You can see that the bar has got a couple of guys that are already passed out on the bar itself. And a couple on the tables, one on the floor. There's vomit here, vomit there. It doesn't smell great. So whatever you would imagine as the tavern would be like in a pirate town, this is kind of like the upscale version. So going in with your initial need for corks and bottles and so forth, you're not hiding the fact that you're throughout the day, and it's obvious that you have that glow around you, and you're so tall.
Yeah.
The crowds are parting for you, and there's a lot of people on the docks and near the taverns and so forth. They kind of just move back, and then the initial reaction is kind of like surprise and shock and awe as they see you come through, and there's a respect there and a fear. You can see there's kind of a fear as well. You haven't seen any other throughout the day. In the moments that you've been, between the city and between the port and the tavern, probably not that many down here. In the distance, you've seen a couple of centaur. You've seen an elf or two, a few dwarves, Hofflin, Kabooter, here or there, mostly humans. Haven't seen an Atlantean. You haven't, for that matter, even seen the Atlantean Tower that you've seen in almost every city. But, you know, it's clear as things are getting a little bit closer to the evening that it's becoming a little bit more wild. But anyway, it's still afternoon, and as you walk in and you're asking for these items, the bartender you hear others calling him Pragoti, obviously the owner of this establishment. He's human. He's kind of heavy but muscled. But looks like he probably hasn't sailed in a while, and that he's been more sedate over the past few years as he's got a layer of fat over the muscle. Big man, not quite as tall as you, and he kind of looks up at you, and you can see his eyes get large as the Twathaday steps up.
You remind me of my friend Rolo.
And then he just starts to laugh. I had no idea Twathaday would walk into my bar today and sound like you. Can I get you a drink, my friend?
You.
Oh, yes, wow. That is impressive.
She is charlatan. She's gonna use. What would that be? Performance.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's what's up.
Sound like you.
She goes higher.
And he just starts to laugh. You're welcome in my bar. I will try and do my best to make sure that nobody tries to harm you. Although you probably don't have to worry about that. Look, you're Twathaday. You're a legend among men and women, but you're quite old. You do feel feral.
I'm very old. But
Yes.
Captain Josiini said this was the best tavern.
Oh, Captain Josiini, yes. Her crew frequents us once in a while before they go out. Is she back, I guess?
She's in town.
Good. I'm sure we will see her. We'll save a table. So you wanted bottles, and
I need some bottles, but with corks in them.
how many do you need?
I can probably only carry this many.
Why don't hold bottles? Like,
Okay, so this many and this many.
He looks, now he sees Kiva for the first time as his eyes have like been starstruck on you. Girl, are you from the north? You are one of the wild people. A druid. A druid from where?
here.
Oh, you're okay.
We're both from the north.
That's fine. You're welcome here. You're both welcome here. Will you be staying the night?
No, I think we'll sleep on the boat.
It's very comfortable. Why don't you sleep here? I have nice rooms for Twathaday.
Because there's a bed on the boat, and I've already made a lump and it's shaped like me. So when I lay in it, I just fit into that lump.
Stay at my tavern. Stay at my inn. I will give you the bottles for free. You may drink for free too while you are here.
All right.
Ah, very good. And he turns and smacks a boy that's kind of like hanging out next to him, just kind of like staring up at you. Go grab 24 bottles with the corks. And the boy runs off. Please, I have a table. Move them away from the table. And a couple of big guys walk over and they physically move like 3 or 4 half drunk. They protest, but quickly thrown out. And he has it cleaned up nicely for you and offers you the seat. The boy brings over all the bottles without any corks. He has a big hullabaloo with that and smacks the boy once again, sends the boy back for the corks, doesn't arrive with the right number of corks. After about 20 minutes, he finally gets the number of bottles and the number of corks all together. 2 or 3 of the bottles are broken, cracked, and so he has a fit about that, and of course, has to get those replaced. Eventually, after about an hour, you have 24 bottles with corks.
That reminds me of a joke.
This guy deserves a good smack on the head.
Have you ever heard the joke about the Tiz bottle?
About the what?
It's never mind.
His bottle. Must be a Twathaday thing. I'm very interested in hearing. Hey, don't forget what you're supposed to do. He turns to the boy again. The boy just shakes his head and stands there. I told you go down now, go. He runs outside and you hear him calling 'Twas a day! 'Twas a day in the house! Come, drink with us! 'Twas a day! Come see the 'twas a day! As he just announces to everyone in the port as you hear it like echoing down the street. For goldies!
Saw that coming.
So now we've got a beacon in the tavern.
Do you want me to be more throughout the day?
Can you be any more taught? Look, you just cannot die here. You look very old, and I can't have you dying here in my town. So stay alive and become as taught a day as you want. I think it'd be very exciting. Don't blow up my inn, though.
She'll pop her bride on for an hour.
Whoa! And it just blinding for a moment, obviously. But as it's getting darker in this time, it just illuminates the room in this purple, right? Purple glow.
Oh, green.
Green glow, yes. And the patrons start flooding in to see the twelfth a day. And he's selling drinks hand over foot. I mean, he's just selling like crazy as the people are just standing room only, except for your table.
You come to our tavern. How?
No, I'm at the docks
I
right
don't know if we can even get in at this point.
Yeah, by the time you're finished and you come to the tavern, you kind of have to push your way in, and you see.
Saved your receipt by putting all of the bottles on one pair.
Well, no. Nobody is allowed. You have a couple of big, brawly Tartessons that are standing there, making sure nobody sits at your chair unless you say it's okay. Most notably, Hildy say it's
Hi,
okay.
Josiini.
Hi, see you've made traction here.
Now,
Pergodi. I think you're taking advantage of my friend here.
of course, I have negotiated well with this twice a day.
What did it cost you?
Was it 12 or 24? I cannot remember, but it was
You can drink free,
Yeah.
and we have these bottles. And
I said she can drink free. She has not had a drink of anything but milk so far. I'm very pleased with that. And
Expensive.
I usually only drink milk and blood.
24 bottles with corks.
I like how you ignore the blood.
Where's the blood come from?
Hildy said, "I like
Coagulated pig
blood."
Right? Listen, it's black pudding.
All the blood and milk can go kind of the same thing.
Are you opening a vein?
Oh, no.
You owe them at least some food as well.
And he's happy to do so. I mean, there are people just standing there staring awkwardly. You know, just at the ring around the table, just staring. Others are like, that are close. You see them kind of reach out and suddenly and then pull their hand back as if they want to kind of touch the glow. Nervous. The music starts back up after a while. And it seems as if Pergodi is very, very pleased with.
Oh, I like this.
Out on the docks. Oh, are you looking for anything particular or?
I'm walking up and down any ships that are coming into port.
Oh, about the Vikia.
Yeah.
You're going into dark alleys in a strange port,
Basically.
asking about the ships that they hate.
Yeah, asking about rumors about what's going on with the Vikia. Yeah.
But primarily with the Vikia is what you're. Okay.
That's my particular topic of interest.
Okay. Right. So, roll an investigation.
About shag time.
Well, I've done it.
That's a 7.
So, I mean, as you attempt to talk to people now, the way you're dressed and the way you look, you're in a city of pirates, and shockingly, they dress pretty well. You see, the ones certainly they seem to want to project success. It's kind of like being in South Beach, and everybody's like dressed in their best, their silks and their skinny pants and that sort of thing. They got their rapiers, the scimitars, whatever that they have off to their side, a hat with a big feather in it.
Very ostentatious.
You among them look as if you crawled out from underneath the dock. with your furs and your leathers and your wild hair and, you know, a big
It's cardboard and sign.
Like a skunk among songbirds.
Will work for information about Vicky.
So you're having trouble really getting people to interact with you, as, you know, mostly they just kind of step around and away.
You obvious assholes. All of you.
Trying to sell mangoes at the stoplight.
Okay.
Now, there are a few of the poorer sort, you know, the ones that seem to be like the dock workers. You might.
I'll try with the dock workers.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll an investigation.
Oh, 17.
Okay.
That's better.
The dice do tell the story.
I get it. I stay with my class. It's fine.
You get. I mean, you seem to get marginally along better with these folk, although they're still standoffish as well. They clearly have their eye on upward mobility. Kind of seems to be the mentality here. You know, just projection is as good as reality, and. But you're kind of more down at their level and just socially appearances. Give me an insight.
Pretty insightful. 14.
Okay.
10 plus 4.
So, I mean, you get some great information. You summertime is the height of the season for raiding, enslaving, and pirating, and so on and so forth. Because the waters closer to shore. I mean, there are bad storms out in the primal sea, but they're fewer in the summertime, and the Vikia in particular like to move down the coast away from the Western Kingdoms, where they have to contend with the navies of Eru and Lioness and even Atlantis, to the more savage waters of the Great Sea, which is through the Strait of Hate, or down around Gades and some of the islands that are settled nearby. The Mulians, you know, you hear a little bit of talk about how the Mulians kind of hold their own. You know, they're trade folk. They're merchant. They're like merchant soldiers in a way. That even the Tartessos seem to shy away from them unless they feel like, you know, they have the upper hand. But yeah, there's a lot of talk about, oh well, you know, this captain or that captain. They say they took, you know, a Vikia a month ago. Another one, you know, took a Vikia ship 2 weeks ago. You know, they know another captain that claims to have found a hoard of treasure on 2 others. Seems to be a very, very popular pastime for the pirates.
About how, from the information I gleaned, how many, in the last month, about how many ships, Vikia ships,
Based on your insight, you get the idea that just on these few conversations that you're having, which is representative of maybe a few captains within Freetown or that have frequented Freetown, maybe a half a dozen. But how true any of that is, you don't know.
It's all just rumors.
Oh, but they speak it as if it's absolute truth, and they, you know, almost like they'd been there, but they heard it
the
from.
grain of salt.
Yeah.
The ship tales.
Where we heard it from, they would not lie. I saw the gold.
Yeah, a lot of people that don't lie. Turns out they fucking do. All right. I'm gonna, for the dock workers, I'm gonna give each of them that I've talked to, and said that probably like 5 of them like 2 gold each.
Oh, wow.
dole out like 10 gold to them for their time in trouble.
And make my way back to the tavern.
And if you plan on dispensing gold like that in the future, let me know, because that will gain you some advantage in your conversations, you know, as you're greasing the palms.
Getting an advantage towards getting them up.
No, Howl's just like not intelligent. He's just like, oh, thanks for the info. Here you go. Walks away.
All right, so as you leave the...
The last time I tried to bribe somebody, it didn't work.
All right, so you're heading out where the dock workers are, and then back to the main dock area toward the tavern, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Dakir.
I'm gonna use my thieves' cant, so I'm looking for symbols on buildings or anything that says like information seller, or what our little logo for that would be.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's like a cultural divide or not, but I try my best to like divine where someone would know something for the right price.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thieves' cant is not a universal language.
Yeah.
But it's more
I'm looking for signs.
known to you within your group.
Yeah.
But you know the kind of signs to look for.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll a perception.
Nope. 4.
So initially on the docks you don't have any luck. Nothing stands out to you. But this is a very foreign area. Maybe a little bit more time.
Okay. I'll spend some time just sort of getting the local flavor and kind of like sizing up how people are here. And
You hear the negotiations are astounding to you. I mean, they go into it's over the littlest things, and over the smallest amounts of money. Negotiations that seem to last, as long as an hour. And this is as you pass a market, or where a particular vendor's hawking something of value, and they seem to take pride when they win the negotiation, or they come out ahead, or what seems so, as one party seems happier than the other. But most of the time, it's kind of a balanced thing where they both seem to be reasonably happy. Sometimes they break into fights, and you see blades pulled, and a merchant and their customer battling it out. There's no police force, there's no guards around. There's nobody that seemed to be controlling the law and the environment. But when these fights do break out, others seem to immediately kind of close in and stop it. They don't seem to be in official capacity, but just in general, they just kind of move in and stop the fight.
self-policing people.
Kind of. And then you see what appear to be duels taking place. And as you mosey around the docks, these pirates in their silk tunics and their the jewelry they wear, and the poofy hats and or plumed hats and so forth, pulling rapiers and actually battling to the death right there on the street. And when one manages to kill the other, the body's dragged off to where. And so it's seems like a very, very a violent culture in a way. And it could be over the slightest of insults or slights. Can't really tell, when these things break out, what's going on. They're not frequent, but you see a couple of them, just in a couple hours that you're looking around and traveling around. There's lots of stores, general stores, leather workers, stables, places to buy clothing, if you wanted to fit in, you get a few stares, but you see other Centaur around. You see some of the other races around too, and so don't seem to be a big deal. As you're so close, you imagine it's not surprising. But some of the other Centaur that you see seem to be of the rougher sort. So
I don't really go out of my way to talk to them. Can I pass Hal at some point, but just slink off into the shadows and let him walk by doing his own thing?
yeah, I mean,
We're both like
as he's beginning to walk back toward the tavern. Maybe you run into him.
Same.
But as you are walking back, Hal, you see a couple of men, kind of swarthy, lean, in the typical fancy dress, walking down towards you, and one kind of hits the other, and they start talking to each other, looking at you, and they keep walking closer, and then they part as they get close to you, so that you're coming the opposite direction, and then the one just kind of hits you hard with the shoulder and then flies back dramatically. Look what you've done! You ripped my fancy shirt!
Oh no!
I cannot have it! And he pulls his sword, his rapier.
Oh no! Who saw this coming?
I challenge you. A duel to the death, or you will pay for my shirt.
Is this a one-on-one?
Yes, it is. My friend, he will not interfere.
How much does your shirt cost?
40 gold.
40 gold.
At least.
40 gold.
40 gold. Roll an insight.
Roll a 1.
He's not very good at persuasion. As you barely beat him, so you're kind of not really believing what you're hearing. This shirt's probably worth like a couple silver.
Gentlemen, are we really playing these games?
A circle is forming. You see this happening. A circle is forming. Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
Gentlemen, are we playing this game right?
Oh no, not him. Just me and you.
No,
you and
playing
I.
this game right.
Yes, we are going to dance.
We're going to die.
We are going to dance. You pull your blood. I see you have a thing.
Oh, rapiers at the ready.
You have rapiers? I don't see a rapier.
I don't have a rapier.
You must be very confused.
And he pulls the axe off his back. Here's what I got.
Roll intimidation.
Fuck you.
He drops it.
No, this is a man filled with unbridled confidence.
My total's 6.
6. Okay.
I rolled a 4.
Come on.
We dance. And this will pick up next week.
Clearly not leading this year.
I hope Hal gets humbled. He's been a little too cocky.
I don't know.
Nah, this is just gonna make his ego even bigger.
Well, to be honest, this is gonna be the first murder. It's gonna be the first murder in town.
It's a sanctioned duel, it's fine.
We just got here,
That
Hal.
happened, huh?
I just wanted to have a private conversation with Hildy, and then I realized that that's not gonna happen. So
You walked right into this with your, because I mean, I was thinking this the whole time. Is he going to go off on his own? Because if he does, but had you rolled higher on intimidation, even
I know, bro. I mean, like, I'm not, in my brain,
a
it's so
huge
full.
fucking axe. Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh, we're gonna.
I have seen
The
bigger.
ground was unlevel, so it wobbled a little bit.
It's like, oh,
Your axe is not so big. I have seen much larger axes than yours.
he's met Francisco.
let's hold up the conversation.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Good night,
Thanks for joining us. Good night. Crazy.